The Louie Tee Network is powered by MusicHead University. MusicHeads, classes in session. Turn me up. Enroll on YouTube now. Link is in the description.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie Tee? Welcome to the Command Post Game Live. You know what it is. Post up, take command. I, of course, am your Commander-in-Chief, Louie Tee. Thank you for joining me. Commanders, do exactly what we thought they were going to do in this game. There were no surprises here. I predicted 41-21. Was I that far off? 44-22 is your final score. So nothing here happened that wasn't expected. Jahmyr Gibbs scored 3 touchdowns, totaled almost 200 yards of total offense, to be expected. Had they stuck with him in the NFC divisional round last year, maybe the outcome is different. We couldn't stop him then. We definitely can't stop him now. Jameson Williams killed us in the NFC divisional round last year. Killed us again tonight. Like, nothing changed. The only thing that was different was that we were able to force turnovers the last time we saw them. And, of course, the offense was vastly different. It was explosive. It was dynamic. It was what the Lions did to us, right? We didn't really punt against Detroit in the divisional round. The Lions didn't punt at all tonight in this football game. All right. Not a single punt. There were 4 punts in tonight's game, all by your Washington Commanders. The Lions wanted to score 50 tonight. And probably could have if they wanted to be a little bit more aggressive in some of those 4th down situations where they settled for field goals. But ultimately, they came in and did what they wanted to do, which was get back on track, run up the score, and beat us to a pulp. And they did that. For anybody that thought that there was a chance that was still tweaking off of the hopium, hopefully tonight got you right. And now you can start to wean yourself off of the hopium. Yeah, there'll be some withdrawals. I know. You'll be okay, right? You know, we're not beating the Dolphins next week, right? You do know this. You are aware that they have Jahmyr Gibbs light on their team in Devin Achane, right? You know we can't stop Devin Achane, just like we can't stop Jahmyr Gibbs. You know we can't stop Jalen Waddle, just like we can't stop Jameson Williams, right? They are the same players. You do realize that, right? Tua stinks, but we'll make Tua look like Steve Young. We'll make Tua look like Boomer Esiason. Think of whatever left-handed GOAT you can think of. That's what we'll make Tua look like next week. He might have a perfect passer rating against this stinking defense. Not a single stop tonight by the defense. The only time the Lions didn't score tonight was when they took knees at the end of this game. You got to be kidding me. Joe Witt came from the booth down to the sideline for this? 4th straight week of the Commanders losing by 21 or more points. 4th straight week. So for a straight month, we haven't lost by less than 3 scores. 3 touchdowns, not 3 scores. Let me say what it is. We haven't lost by less than 3 touchdowns in a month. Check this out. We've given up 40 or more points for a month straight. And I know Seattle only scored 38. They had 38 by the midpoint of the 3rd quarter. Trust me, if Seattle wanted to score 60, they could have scored 60 last week. They took their foot all the way off of the gas pedal, okay? All the way off the gas pedal. If they wanted 40, they could have gotten it in their sleep last week. Dallas scored 40 the week prior to that, right? Obviously, excuse me, I apologize. Kansas City didn't. They scored 28. They're the only one in there that didn't score 40, basically. And the only reason that happened is because the defense forced 2 turnovers. Because if you recall, I don't think they forced a punt against Kansas City either. So this defense is getting progressively worse every single week. So my question is, who do we blame? Who's taking the fall for this? Someone's got to answer to this. Like, It's one thing for us to sit here and talk about us not having all of the guys that we thought we were going to start this season off with. And that is a valid reason why this defense stinks and why the season has gone the way that it's gone. Absolutely. You are free to use that as many times as you like. I am not disagreeing with that. As a matter of fact, I subscribe to that theory of this would not be looking like this if we were more healthy. However, you're also not allowed to look the way that we look, no matter the circumstances. We look like the worst team in football. I've got my eyes. You know, I don't talk like this. You've been with me long enough. You know, I don't talk like this. I don't use this type of language. I feel like I need to wash my mouth out. This is dirty talk. I got my eye on the number 1 pick. I watched the Jets today. Yeah, I know they were playing the Browns, but they showed life. They won. The Browns play defense. They're going to beat somebody else this year. Trust me. The Browns are going to end up with at least 3 wins, maybe 4. The Saints won a game today. They showed life. The only team that I'm looking at and I'm saying, I don't know who you beat is Tennessee. They're in the way. But if you can get the number 2 pick in the draft, you can use that to lure some quarterback needy team to come up. You need all the picks you can get. You move back to, say, 7 or 8. Pick up a 2nd-round pick, which you currently don't have. Pick up a 4th-round pick, which you currently don't have. And we could be in business. I don't need Terry McLaurin, Noah Brown, and Jaden Daniels back after the bye to F that up. No. And even if they come back, you know what? I don't know if it matters because the defense didn't force a punt tonight. So I don't even know if that matters because, hey, truth be told, the offense wasn't bad today. Just like in every other start he's had, Marcus Mariota efficiently and effectively ran the offense. And this time, for the first time all season, he didn't turn the ball over. They scored 22 points. And you know what? Had the defense actually forced a punt, they may have been able to score more. Hey, how about that? What a concept. Don't give up points on every single possession. Give the ball back to your offense and let them try to score again. That's a novel concept that most teams in the NFL adhere to. Not us. We don't force punts. We get upset when the other team doesn't find a way to end their possession with some sort of kick. And I'm not talking about punts. We don't do punts around here defensively. We don't force punts. It's either going to be an extra point or a field goal. Hell, we even didn't want that to happen. On one occasion, we decided to haul off and hit a guy, put the ball at the 1 so they could get a 2-point conversion. Daron Payne was a captain today. Was he not? Was he not a captain today? Yes or no? He got ejected for stealing. He absolutely, like he's trying to break his hand. He stole on Amon-Ra St. Brown, excuse me. He stole on Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, balled up fists, hauled off, and I'm talking about all his power, all 320 pounds. Bow. That's a captain, folks. That's a team captain for today. That's how we conducting ourselves. Javon Kinlaw. I didn't know this was a rule until today, that if you get a 15-yard penalty on the kickoff and they tack it on and they kick off from midfield, they can kick it out of bounds and you only get the ball at the 25-yard line. They did it twice. I didn't even know it was a rule today until today, and they did it twice where we had unsportsmanlike conduct penalties after they scored because we couldn't conduct ourselves. Quan Martin had one. Javon Kinlaw had one. Obviously, Daron Payne had one because he got ejected, and they kicked it out of bounds. You know us? We don't know how to do. We can't even score a touchdown without getting a delay of game penalty for our extra point. We're pathetic. Another wasted first half timeout. Can't line up. I mean, we check off every box. The only thing we didn't do today was we didn't turn it over. What would be a Washington Commanders game without more injuries? More injuries. Ale Cajo tried to decapitate himself for the second time this season. He did it against Atlanta. He did it again in this game. I'm getting worried for him now. Trey Amos left the game with an ankle injury. He did not return. Chris Rodriguez left the game with a shoulder injury. He did not return. Jonathan Jones left the game with a groin, I believe. He did return. Hey, how about that? Speaking of, hey, how about that? Hey, how about that? Hip, hip, hooray, 3 cheers for Jalen Lane catching a deep ball. Hip, hip, hooray. Hip, hip, hooray. Jalen Lane with a deep ball catch, man. We got to celebrate the small victories now, okay? The bar is extremely low. We have to celebrate the small victories now. Hey! Ben Sinnott gets in the end zone again from Marcus Mariota, the only guy he can catch a touchdown from. Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray! Ben Sinnott in the end zone, baby, yeah! And the biggest one from today's game, the day walker himself, Treylon Burks, looked impressive. Yeah? Hey, look, we don't have a lot of things that we feel like can possibly roll over into next year, right? Feels pretty dark and the cupboard feels cold and bare, right? So we're looking for items that we can take into next year and say, okay, he's a keeper. We can do something with him. We can utilize him. He adds value, right? That's what we're looking for now. We would love to see Drake Jackson at some point this year. Don't know if it's going to happen or not, but that's the evaluation phase that we're in now, right? Looking to evaluate guys and see if we can bring them along for the ride. Are you a part of the problem or the solution? Now, this is a small sample size that we saw from the day walker today. However, hey, he looked good, right? Think he caught everything that came his way, made some tough contested catches, caught a deep ball down the sideline with a penalty attached to it. I like what I saw from the day walker. I may have to give him a 00 at some point. Small sample size. Do it again. We don't have anybody else. Do it again next week against the Miami Dolphins. He could be our Noah Brown replacement for next year. Right? I'd love to see it happen. So that was a positive. There weren't many in today's game, but I did need to get those out of the way very quickly. And for the 4th time this season in a start, Marcus Mariota has given us a shot. Unfortunately, in every one of his starts, sans for the Raiders game, the defense simply was atrocious. And they gave him no shot. No shot. And that's really frustrating. It's really disappointing because Atlanta, we talked about this. Did the offense leave some points on the field? Sure they did. Sure they did. But they scored 27. That should have been more than enough to beat Atlanta, a team that up until that point had not scored more than 22 points in a single game. Michael Penix Jr. was 0-4 going into the game in games in which the Falcons didn't give up or had given up more than 7 points. He was 0-4. He was 0-4. 0-4. And we let him score 34 points. The offense tonight was good enough to be competitive in this football game. It is unfair to ask them to have to score on every single possession, especially with Marcus Mariota at quarterback and with all the injuries we have to our skill position players. It's unfair to ask this offense to have to go out there and score on every single possession. And that is exactly what the defense has asked them to do basically each of the last 2 weeks. It's unbelievable. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like it. I thought last year's defense was bad. And a lot of you said, Louie, this defense is just as bad. And again, when I was talking and having those conversations with you, we weren't this banged up yet. I was having these conversations with y'all after the Green Bay game when you guys were like, this defense stinks. It's just like last year's, because you were frustrated. I was having those conversations after the Falcons game. And this defense still, to me, wasn't that bad, because the next week against the Chargers, what did they do? They had a really good showing. They weren't that bad yet. They actually weren't bad against the Bears either. Just gave up the Quan Martin play, and at the end, they let go of the rope, but they got the stops in the game that they needed to. And if the offense doesn't piss the bed, if Jaden Daniels doesn't turn it over late, we win that game. It wasn't until week 7 against Dallas when the wheels came off. And it started in week 6 against the Bears when Dorrance went down, because that stopped us from being able to get to the quarterback at all. Now you're relying on Jacob Martin to get to the quarterback. The run defense had already taken a hit. You took Dorrance. Dorrance was a double-edged sword for us. He cut us deep twice because Dorrance was a physical edge setter. He stopped the run, and Dorrance also got to the quarterback. And once they took him from us, it was a devastating, deathly blow to this defense up front. One that we never recovered from. Defense hasn't been right since. It's not a coincidence that Dorrance goes down with 3 plays into the Dallas game, and from that point on, we haven't given up less than 28 points in any game in what, 3 out of 5 games now, I guess it is. Well, 3 out of 4, we've given up basically 40 or more points. 3 out of 4. Again, Seattle could have scored 40 if they wanted to. But 44 to Dallas, 38 to Seattle, 44 again to the Detroit Lions. Lost all 3 of these games by 21 or more points. And frankly, did Kansas City punt in their game? Did they punt against us on Monday night? Because Seattle only punted because they let us force them to punt. That sounds crazy, I know. But they let us force them to punt by running the football 3 times and punting. They gave us mercy punts. They felt bad for us. Because if Seattle wanted to score 60, they could have. We didn't touch Sam Darnold, just like we didn't touch Jared Goff tonight. No sacks, few pressures. They were 5 of 10 on third downs. They scored on every single possession. They were 4 of 6 in the red zone. Here's the bad part about the offense. The offense was 4 of 4 on fourth downs, 3 of 4, 3 of 3, 4 of 4, whatever the number was on fourth downs. We converted every single fourth down we went for tonight. The offense was 3 of 3 in the red zone. The offense scored points tonight. They moved the ball. The only gripe I have with Cliff is that he didn't run the football enough. But I have that gripe every week with him. And you'll look at the numbers at the end and it'll look balanced because we ran it a bunch in garbage time when the game was already decided. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about early in the game when the Lions aren't good defensively. Just in case you haven't been watching the Lions. They're not a good defensive football team. We moved the football at will with Marcus Mariota, the Day Walker, Jalen Lane, Zach Ertz, and Deebo Samuel on the field. They couldn't really stop us. We ran the football, and I thought we could have run it some more. I thought we should have run it more. I thought we had a chance to be really effective running the ball, and Cliff got away from it like he always does. No, nothing new. You know, Cliff is allergic to continuing to stick with the run even when it's working. I get it when it's ineffective, when you're playing against a really stout run defense like we were against Seattle last week. I get it. We're playing against a very modest to below average rush defense that got crushed on the ground last week against Minnesota. And we had the ability to do the exact same thing. And instead, we decided, nah, we're good. We're just going to go ahead and throw the football anyway. And what did I tell you? Chris Rodriguez was going to start the game. I thought he was going to get a bunch of carries, a boatload of carries. I thought he was going to lead the team in carries. Nope. Got 6 carries. The number was set at 6.5. He got 6 damn carries and then got hurt. Should have had 10 by halftime because they couldn't stop the run. But nope, Cliff wanted to be aggressive. And again, they took shots down the field and they hit them. They hit some of those shots down the field. I told you they were going to be aggressive going down the field. I told you they were going to take deep shots. But some of them, some of the play action fakes, some of the shots down the field, some of the RPOs that they ran were unnecessary. Just hand the ball off. The Lions are struggling. I thought Marcus Mariota would be a bigger part of the run game. Here's why I thought the Lions wouldn't score 50. Not because we were going to stop them. Somebody in the first half was like, and Louie, you think this team isn't giving up 50 today? I said, I thought we were going to take the air out of the football more. I thought we were going to control the clock a little bit more because our only chance of winning this game was to shorten the game. That was the only chance we had, was to shorten the game, run the football, keep the clock moving, keep Detroit's offense off the field, shorten the amount of possessions that each team had. That would keep the score down, and that would give us a fighting chance. Maybe, just maybe, they turned over once or twice and we'd have a shot. That was your only chance. Well, we didn't stick with the run enough. Obviously, we didn't get any stops defensively, and it wasn't close. I mean, guys were catching the ball with 10 yards of space in every direction. I mean, it was a farce. But again, these are the things we've become accustomed to. Like, we're so used to seeing guys on 3rd and 7 catch a 7-yard pass with 3-4 yards of separation and space to run up the field and get the first down comfortably, right? We're accustomed to 3rd and 5 guys playing 11 yards off and allowing the biggest cushions you've ever seen in life. We're accustomed to seeing them run a little play action fake and have a guy run an in-breaking route because we're playing 15 yards off. He runs a simple dig route over the middle of the football field and he catches it, and there's not a single commander in sight. So there's 10 or 12 yards of run after catch opportunity after he catches the football. You're accustomed to seeing that. We saw a practice squad bum none of us ever heard of. White, I think his name was. Never heard of him. First NFL game. Catches the ball and runs up the sideline for like a 55-yard touchdown. It's what we do on a weekly basis. So none of us are surprised by any of that. Doesn't make it any less disappointing when you watch it happen in real time week after week after week. Hey, Joe Witt's down on the sidelines, though. Witt on the sidelines. They put the camera in his face. He looked just as goofy on the sidelines as he does in the box. Just as confused and befuddled as to why the defense is ass-tastic. Hey, he gave them energy, though. He gave them the energy to punch guys in the face, want to fight guys that are on the ground, talk trash to a quarterback who's kicking our teeth in the current moment. One play before he's talking trash, the next play, Jahmyr Gibbs is scoring a touchdown. But he gave them energy to want to get after the other team. Not on the field where it mattered, but after the play was over so we could get a penalty. He gave them that energy, though, to fight, and not in a good way. We are going to get bent over in Madrid next week. We're getting bent over, sodomized. Splinters. No lubrication. I feel bad for any of you who bought tickets to go see an actual football game, to be entertained. Are you not entertained? I feel so bad for those of you who bought tickets looking to be entertained. You're going to be entertained, all right. Not by your favorite team, though. You'll be entertained by the Miami Dolphins. By players like Devin Achane and Jalen Waddle and Greg Dulcich. Go see the Miami Dolphins in all their splendor over in Madrid as they take on the Washington Commanders. Should be a lot of fun, but not for us. I don't know who you beat the remainder of this season. I don't care if Jaden is back, Terry is back, Noah is back. I don't care if you give us back our entire offense fully healthy and intact, because we can't stop anybody right now. No one. Do you understand what I'm saying right now? Are you watching the same game that I'm watching? Anybody that was still, coming down off of the hopium, I hope that you've now realized that this is over. Go through the withdrawals right now. Go through them right now. I'll stand by you. I'll help you sweat it out. But get it all out of your system. It's over. It's been over, but some of you are holding on to hope. I'll keep holding on. No, you don't need to hold on anymore. Just let go. Let go. Let go. It's okay. It'll be all over in the morning. Just let go. In the morning. It'll be all over in the morning. You just got to let go and let God. Look, the best thing that can happen to this team is that they continue to crash out on the defensive side. Because no matter what this, look, Dan Quinn's searching, bro. Searching. He's searching for answers. So if Jaden's healthy, he's going to play him. Not because it's in the best interest of Jaden and he needs the reps like some of you are. No, he's trying to save his job, save face. He's not getting fired, but if you keep losing like this, heads have to roll. Like, this isn't okay. And this is the thing that I'm saying right now. This isn't okay on any level. There's no excuse for this type of performance every single week. These type of performances happen every now and again, you know, not to really good teams. You rarely see, you never see Kansas City get their brains bashed in like this. You never see Baltimore get beat up like this unless Lamar Jackson isn't playing, right? And even when Lamar's not out or not in the game, and they're like the Rams, 17-3 that game was, I believe. Like, it wasn't embarrassing. They had a bunch of guys out and they still fought. But here in Washington, we wear that excuse like a badge of honor. Like, hey, like it's a clearance where it allows you to get into different aspects of excuse making. Hey, hold on. I got clearance to come back here and use this excuse. No, you don't get to use the injury excuse. Plenty of teams have them. And that clearance, that excuse of injuries, it should only get you so far. That's a valid reason to not win games against quality opponents, not having your best players. Absolutely valid. What it is not an excuse for, what it is not allowed to give you clearance to do, is to allow you to get blown out every single week. You shouldn't be able to flash your injury card and say, hey, I got multiple players out for the season at big time positions. My quarterback's been out. You shouldn't be able to swipe that card and say, so I'm okay getting beat by 21 points every week. That's not allowed. Even the worst teams in football aren't doing that. Even the worst teams in the league are showing some pride, standing up, fighting, showing some backbone. The Saints went on the road against a hot Carolina team that was puffing their chest out, thinking they had a chance to win the division, and they smacked them boys in the mouth and said, sit down. You a bum. 17-7. Gave up 7 points. Smacked those boys around and told them to sit down and grab a seat. We go to Dallas, and we let them boys who don't have no defense, no backbone, smack us around. Tell us to sit down. That's the type of time we on. We don't have no heart. We don't have no backbone. And again, who do you blame? Who do you blame? We have no structure. Now the discipline aspect is starting to go by the wayside. Now you got players trying to get in fights with other players on other teams. You got penalties. We had another 8 penalties today. So at what point now do we start looking at the staff and saying, this is your doing? At what point do we look at Adam Peters and you put this together? At what point do we start holding them accountable? The players stink. But you brought the players in and you guys are coaching them up. I watch teams blitz every week. They find a way to get to the quarterback. They find a way to make some noise. We blitz and we get nowhere. The best we can do is force a throwaway. Same blitzes. I can tell you what the blitz is going to be before it happens. When we line up and we go cover zero, I know exactly what the blitz is. It ain't creative. It's not dynamic. It's easy to pick up and account for. The question is, does somebody get open fast enough? If they don't, quarterback's got to hold on to it a little bit. Now he might be forced to flush the pocket and throw it away. That's the one that Von Miller pushed him on the ground and they had to settle for a field goal on. Same blitz that you've seen each of the last 3 weeks that don't work. And it didn't work on that play. Just so happened his first read wasn't open. That's it. Normally the first guy is open. It wasn't open this time. It's the same thing every week. Nothing changes. I can't wait to watch DQ's press conference. Man, is he down bad. He's down bad. I feel for him, but then I don't. And again, I'm going to continue to say this till my face turns blue. You can't be a defensive-minded coach and your defense sucks. That's not allowed. It's just not. You say what you want about Matt Eberflus when he was in Chicago. Say a lot of things about Matt Eberflus. Wasn't the smartest guy, wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed, right? He didn't pick good offensive coordinators. There's a lot you can say about Matt Eberflus. Here's what you can't say. The defense wasn't good when he was in Chicago. That's what you can't say. You can say a lot about Vic Fangio, the head coach. Wasn't a great people person. Offense stunk every year. Found it hard to find good offensive coordinator. Same shit you say about all the failed defensive coordinators who get fired, right? But what you can't say is the defense wasn't good in Denver all those years. Here's what you can't say about Robert Saleh when he was with the Jets. Say a lot of things about Robert Saleh. Offense was bad every year. They couldn't find a quarterback. The offensive coordinator stunk. They catered to Aaron Rodgers. They built an offense around Rodgers, went and got all of his best friends, hired his best friends in the coaching rooms, and just to cater to Aaron Rodgers. You can say a lot wrong about Robert Saleh, but what you can't say about that Jets defense when he was the head coach is that it stunk, because it didn't. If you are a defensive-minded head coach, your defense is supposed to be good. It's supposed to be a splitting image of you and what you represent. If you're an offensive-minded coach, your offense is supposed to be good. You say what you want about any of these offensive coaches out here, man. Their offense is good. The defense, I don't know. I don't know, Jim. I don't know about the defense. I tell you that offense, I bet you it's humming, though. Somehow, we managed to hire defensive-minded coaches who don't coach defense. And defense always stinks when it gets here. I can't explain that for the life of me. I'm still trying to figure out why we can't never get this right. When Jay Gruden was here, the offense was good because he's an offensive-minded guy. You say what you want about Jay. Not hard enough on the players. Club Jay at practice and training camp, terrible, judge of defensive coordinator character. You can say whatever you want about Jay, but the offense was humming every year. Every year. Didn't matter who was that quarterback. Alex Smith. Somehow we managed to go get 2 straight defensive-minded head coaches, and neither one of them got the offense looking like a damn. Only us could find a way to do this. Repeatedly, I may add. DQ gonna have to figure this out, or this will be his demise. Again, I'm not. Again, let me whoa. He did not get that first down. That is not how that's supposed to go. Let me reiterate. I'm all in on DQ. I'm all in on Adam Peters. Nothing today changes how I feel. I'm just venting. I'm just ranting just a little bit. Not seriously, because again, we knew this was going to happen. It's not like we went into this game like we did against Seattle expecting to win. I thought we were going to win against Seattle. I knew we were losing tonight. I knew it wasn't going to be close. I just told them, hey, don't let them get 50, bro. They want 50. Don't let them get 50. Shout out to, no shout outs. You didn't do anything worthy of a shout out tonight. You didn't get a stop. You didn't get a singles. You know, it was so bad in the comment section of the mob. They were cheering when the Lions had to settle for a field goal. We got to stop. And I'm like, no, guys, a stop equals no points. We haven't done that once tonight. So no stops. But that's how low the bar is now. And so now we just got to start asking questions like, hey, man, what you going to do, DQ? Because, again, this is how you get fired, bro. Keep putting these types of performances on the field and not changing anything, and people grow very restless and weary. And I know y'all saw the crowd at the end of this game, man. It was a lot of Honolulu blue out there at the end of this one. And I heard chants of Jared Goff, Jared Goff. I heard let's go Lions. I heard all of that at the end of the game. And I saw a lot of blue. A lot of blue. I had people that were in town for the game say, bro, all I've seen are Lions fans walking around right now. I'm going to be honest with you. They rolling deep. I was like, yeah, the Lions travel now. They sold out their season tickets, and now they show up to games. They not playing around. They out here in these streets, man. They out here in these streets because they know they team good, and they out here putting in the work. And Dan Quinn about to find out how dark it can get. You ask for fans to come out and support the team, and they did that. You got to put a product out there that they can get behind, or you're going to see how dark it can get out here. This ain't nothing. This is the Detroit Lions. It's going to get a lot worse when Philadelphia and Dallas show up. It's going to get a lot worse when you get them teams that's right up the street, or teams that got a big fan base that live in the area. They're going to show up, and they're going to show out. We about to be back to the days of when we starting to ask, hey, man, was it 55-45 us? Was it 50-50? Was it 60-40 us? Was it 52-48 them? We about to start asking them questions again. It could get real dark for him real quick if he don't start making some changes. And it got to. I know you don't want to start fighting again. Firing somebody in season ain't gonna change this defense like drastically. But what it might do, demoting him, you start calling the play. What it might do is it might actually stop us from being the worst defense in football. Right now, we're worse than Cincinnati and Dallas. We can't stop the run. We can't stop the pass. We can't generate a pass rush. We can't stop inside runs. We can't stop outside runs. We can't do anything right now. We can't get off the field on third downs. We can't even force a punt. The Lions were, what, 2 of 2 on fourth downs? So when they didn't get it on third down, they just went for it. They were 5 of 10 on third downs. They were 2 of 2 on fourth downs. So that means they only didn't score a touchdown 3 times. All 3 of those times they kicked field goals. They were 4 of 6 in the red zone. Like, and one of those possessions didn't get to the red zone, and they settled for a field goal because it was the end of the half. Okay? Like, we did nothing to deter them. Something's got to give. Something's got to give. This was exactly what we thought it was going to be, but it doesn't make it feel any less horrible to watch. Just because you know you're going to get blown out doesn't mean you're just going to be like, well, that's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought, but man, that was bad again. And then when you see the offense, last week we couldn't do nothing on defense, on offense. Like Jack Diddley Poo Squat on offense. Seattle was, just suffocating us. This week, the offense actually showed life. And if you could have just gotten stops, this could have been a football game. You couldn't get one stop. Not one? Seriously? Not one stop. Not one punt. Not one. Really? Seriously? Wow. I mean, they really last week, if Seattle didn't want to, they wouldn't have had to punt if they didn't want to. They let us force themselves to punt. They let us do that. Seattle didn't punt in the first half last week. They had 31 points at halftime. At least today, because the offense wasn't as agreed. The Lions, listen to this. The Lions scored 44 without producing a turnover. Do you know how hard that is in the NFL? Generally, when a team gives up 40 plus, there's 1 or 2 turnovers at least in there. One probably went to the crib or it set up great field position to score. None of that transpired today. They had almost 600 yards of total offense. We were disgusting. And that is the problem. Therein lies the problem. We were so disgusting tonight that you feel like something has to be done. Even if it's just for the sake of doing something, just to say you did it. Like, we can't continue going on this way. I mean, I don't know what else they can do, but something has to be done. Something has to be done. So you did the wit down from the booth thing. We knew that wasn't going to work. We knew that wasn't going to have any results. That went exactly the way that I thought. I went on a nice little mini rant last week when they told us, oh, yeah, no, we're bringing him down. Like, oh, yeah, word. He coming down? Okay, all right, that's what's up. See how that goes. Went exactly the way we thought it was going to go. Now what? Now what? You changed the way the meetings go. You've given players homework. You're being more hands-on, more visual, practice with the walkthroughs, right? Okay, cool. All that. Still gave up 44. Didn't force a punt. Still blown assignment. Still guys running wide open. It's week 10 and we still running into each other on a simple man concept like it's the first week of the preseason. I can't make this stuff up. Jamison Williams runs a simple shallow cross on a 3rd down, and you would have thought we never saw a shallow cross before in our lives. And Rodgers about to take a sack for safety. Oh, my God. Old quarterbacks are hilarious. And you would have thought we never saw a shallow cross before. Mikey runs right into Jeremy Reeves, like seriously on some crash test dummies type stuff. You can't make this stuff up. We still running into each other 10 weeks into the season. This is the same conversations we were having against Green Bay in week 2. We running into each other. We got to play levels concept. Guys got to make sure that they don't run into each other. That was a conversation in September. I'm having the same conversation with you in November, bruh. Oy vey. Let's get to Sleeper, man. Let's get to our the skill game brought to you by Sleeper. And then we'll come back on the other side after that, get to the comment section, and we'll skedaddle.
The skill game brought to you by Sleeper.
All right. So Sleeper is a fantasy sports and real money gaming app that focuses on bringing people together through sports and gaming. Sleeper has become the fastest organically growing fantasy platform in the world with over 10 million active users in 2025. If you haven't already done so, what are you waiting on? Use the Sleeper app to enhance your sports watching experience. I am happily one of the 10 million active users. If you are not, here's an opportunity for you to become one of those active users by clicking the link in the description of this and every single video that I do. There, it will take you to where you can download the app. There, you will have to verify that you are who you say you are. Once you do that, make sure Sleeper is available in your area. It's available in over 25 states in the U.S. Once you've done all of that, they're going to give you a free $20. just for being a brand new member of the Sleeper family. And then you need to use my promo code LTN to get you 100% match on your first deposit up to $100. That's right, a dollar for dollar match. And I always advise you, put 100 in so they can match that, because you can only do it once. So you can match that. They'll match it. That's $200 plus the $20 they gave you. $220 go a long way. Now, I had a dope pick that I put together today, and I know it didn't hit, and I know who did it, and I don't even want to click on the button because I'm going to see it and I'm going to be mad, but I got to do it. Let's see what happened. Isaiah Joe and Cam Spencer got me, and so did Paulo Banchero. That was for $1,200. This was a gorgeous ticket, and they screwed me. Golly. That was a beautiful ticket I put together, man. I got to be cursed or something, bro. I got to be cursed. I did something to somebody, man. I swear I'm living right. I do right by people. I swear. Somehow I can't get right. Let's just go to, golly, an hour ago, you couldn't tell me I wasn't going to be $1,200 richer tonight. I needed a win. Everybody was like, yo, I hit my parlay, man. I hit my parlay. Where mine at? So here was mine from the game right here. Longest reception for Jameson Williams, 22 yards. He hit that. Gibbs, longest rush, 19, 43-yard run for him for a touchdown. He hit that. Gibbs, anytime touchdown. I wanted to spice that up to 2. I was like, no need to be greedy, right? So he hit that. Laporta, 5 catches, knew he was going to do that because it's a tight end. If you got a tight end with any ability, he's going to catch the football against the Commanders. Amon-Ra St. Brown, I thought what Jameson Williams did today, I thought Amon-Ra St. Brown was going to do that. So I thought he was going to be the one with all the big explosive catches, and it wasn't. It was the Jameson Williams show. So he didn't get that. I thought that C-Rod had a chance on a run that was 9 yards to get 10, and I was like, he a buster. I should have known. He a mark buster. I should have known he couldn't get 10 yards on a run, right? Like, all he had to do was lean forward at the end of that run, and it would have been 10 yards of first down, and he would have got me that out of the way. Once he didn't get it there, I was like, he ain't going to get it. But I never in my wildest dreams did not think he was going to get 7 attempts rushing in this game. You couldn't have got me to believe that was going to be the case. Then I put together this really cute, nice and neat, quick little joint, right? All the 4 o'clock games, there were only 3. I said, I just took the under on every quarterback to throw an interception. So all I needed was for all 6 quarterbacks to stay clean. And let me tell you the bad part. I was more worried about my quarterback, Marcus Mariota, than anybody else going into the day, right? When I did this, I just threw it together real quick. I said, all y'all got to do is stay clean. Just don't turn it over. You ain't got to play well. You ain't got to do, just don't throw an interception. Jacoby Brissett tried to throw 5 interceptions, but they wouldn't let him do it. Marcus Mariota never came close to throwing an interception in this game. Matthew Stafford tried to throw 4 interceptions. They wouldn't let him do it. Jared Goff never came close to throwing an interception. And then Sam Darnold had to break the ice. I got all the way through 3 quarters with every quarterback. And then Sam Darnold, deep in his end zone, gets the ball batted in the air and picked off. I wanted to drop kick him in his Adam's apple. This was going to happen. Once he did it, Matt Jones was like, well, shit, Sam already did it. I can do it too. I don't know what I did something to somebody, because I be putting together these dope tickets and something always goes awry. Something always goes awry. And I don't know why. What did I do? I like nice things. What did I do? Yikes. Anyway. Man, you couldn't have told me an hour ago I wasn't getting these $1,200. I put together a nice, a dope ticket, bro. Yikes. Anyway, shout out to Sleeper for sponsoring this stream. Let's get to the comment section. That is the skill game brought to you by Sleeper.
The skill game brought to you by Sleeper.
All right. See what you guys are talking about. Jay Diggy, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Jay Diggy writes, every week we have a bad news bear moment on defense. And I guess this week's bad news bears moment was when they crashed into each other. I would assume that's what you were referring to this time around. That would qualify as a bad news bears moment as well. So yeah, man, when you talk about the lack of discipline, the lack of the ability to just do the simple things, it's so frustrating. It really truly is. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. All right. So, Rob, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Rob writes, what up, Lou? Knew we were going to lose, but the lack of discipline and effort of some is in question. Season can't end soon enough. I was talking to my son earlier, and he was like, man, we stink just, starting this season off. And I'm like, no, season's almost done, son. Like, we wade too deep into the season to be doing the things that we doing right now. Like, season's almost done, son, and we stink. So, yeah, no, you're absolutely spot on with your assessment of us and our ability to not just do the little things correctly. It's really frustrating, really disappointing. And like at this point, I'm not surprised, but again, it doesn't make me any less disappointed, right? Doesn't make me any less disappointed. But when I tell you it sucks, it sucks. It really does suck. Elf Life, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Elf Life writes, made $600 off this game, so thanks, Lou. Everybody made money but me. I swear, you're like the 7th person today was like, well, my parlay hit, and I'm like, what happened to mine though? What happened to mine? I'm happy that everybody else is hit. What happened to mine? We all supposed to be eating. Everybody eats, B. Like, if we gonna lose, at least let me lose with purpose. That's always been my thing. Let me lose with purpose. That's all I'm asking for. Let me lose with purpose. So I'm glad you made yours though, Elf Life. Get yours, man. Everybody get y'all bands up, man. I'm trying to catch up to y'all. Couldn't tell me I wouldn't get my 1,200 tonight, man. Really disappointed in how that turned out for the kid. Scotty T, the man. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Writes, Louie, you low-key got a ticklish face. I don't even know what that means. I don't know to say thank you or if I should be offended, but okay. I'm just going to say okay. I'm just going to say okay. Loser, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, C-Rod, Amos, Jay Jones, Kaho, Luvu all hurt this game. And I think I seen like Jeremy Reeves playing around with his wrist too after one snap. So like it wouldn't be a Commanders game if we didn't have a laundry list of injuries to talk about after the game's met its conclusion. So what's new, right? Like that bye week can't come fast enough for this team. Next year, I'm a big proponent of later season buys, but I think next season, this has been like 5 years straight now. We're due for a week 7 or 8 or 6 bye next year. I'm not an advocate for that, but I think we definitely need one of those next year. They always have us with these later season buys, and we due for an earlier bye next year because what a bye could have done for this team, say week 7 this year after the Cowboys game or something like that, would have been wonders. Marcus had to play that Chiefs game, and then Jaden could have been back the following week, right? It wasn't that serious. And that Terry wouldn't have played, right, against the Chiefs. He would have played with Jaden. Like a week 7 bye would have been, or a week 8 bye would have been tremendous, right? But anyway, more injuries. What's new? CC Skins, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you. Who writes, D Concepts can't win. Need complete overhaul. Coaches included. At least by year's end. Quinn just needs to head coach only. I don't want him calling plays. Like some people want him to take over the play calling. I personally want him to oversee everything like a supervisor. That's what a head coach should be doing. Now, again, if you're in your pocket and you're at your best as a play caller, like Sean McVay, I don't think is ever going to relinquish play calling duties. Like they talk about in Kansas City, this guy's the play caller. Eric Bieniemy was the play caller, or Matt Nagy's the play caller. Man, Andy Reid calling them damn plays, bro. You ain't fooling nobody. You know, Matt Nagy might be calling them shits into the helmet, but Andy Reid just told him what to call, what play to call. He talking on the headset. He got the damn call sheet in his hand, right? Just like Dan Campbell today. He talking about, oh, it's collaborative, this, that, and the third. His ass had the call sheet in his hand. He was helping call plays today. Some dudes are going to call plays. DeMeco Ryans ain't giving up defensive play calling duties, bro. He like calling plays. And look, again, you say what you want about DeMeco Ryans, man. Say what you want. That offense stinks. That defense is ferocious, though. Again, another defensive-minded coach. That defense is actually good. I don't know what I don't know what Dan has to do to get this shit right. And if him calling the plays is what has to happen for it to get right, then that's what he needs to do. I would prefer him to find someone that can actually do the job so that he doesn't have to. But if he got to call plays for this shit to get right, then so be it. Something has to be done, though. Something has to be done. John Perez, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, JP, writes, give Witt his effing walking papers. Worst D in football. Yeah, I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong. I think this is the worst defense in football right now. And I know there's a lot of stiff competition. Did you get that? Pun was intended there. I'm tripping. But seriously, the Bengals and the Cowboys defenses are just as bad as ours is. But those defenses force punts, man. Those defenses force punts. At some juncture of the game, they force a punt. No one's second and long defense is worse than ours. Like we have no backbone defensively. We have no playmakers defensively. We have little to no team speed defensively. We have no threats off the edge defensively. Like we just aren't good on the defensive side of football. We have no creativity defensively. At least I'm watching Dallas and they're running, safe nickel blitzes and safety blitzes. And, I'm seeing Cincinnati and they're getting guys to the quarterback and they got these dynamic linebackers that they've drafted each of the last 2 years. And so they got some stuff out there. We have none of that. We got none of that. It's just bad. Bad all the way around. JD5, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, Lou, I know you don't like to talk draft, but you have to check out Arvell Reese, Ohio State linebacker. Yeah, I'm not. I'm not. But if this does give you some comfort or you can take some solace in this, Rio is forcing that stuff, into my face, like in our group text. He just keeps spamming it with that kind of stuff. And I'm like, bro, keep that shit away from me. So, if that gives you any comfort, makes you sleep better at night. I do know who he is because of Rio. But I don't like attaching myself to prospects this early in the game because you don't know where we're going to end up. And you don't know where these guys are going to go. And what I don't like doing is getting myself wound up and attached to a guy that may not end up being a part of the, our squad. And so then you find yourself getting upset that they didn't draft the guy you wanted. I don't like to attach myself to prospects. So we'll just see. You know what, where I'm at? You know what I want to do? I want to end up with a top 3 pick, and then I want to coax somebody into coming up for one of these quarterbacks and getting the hell out of there, moving back, getting a 2nd and a 4th, and filling up this draft that feels a little bit empty and a little hollow. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to end up, because I don't think you can get in front of Tennessee. They stink really bad. And they don't score no points. So I think they're going to be a problem. But the Saints won today. They showing life. The Jets won today. That's 2 in a row for them. The Browns, they play defense enough to where they're going to get somebody else again this season, maybe 2 teams. We might be done, because here's the thing. The Saints play defense. The Browns play defense. The Jets don't necessarily play great defense, but they playing enough defense. We play no defense. And if you play no defense, you got no chance. Right? So we have a legitimate shot. The Giants play defense. They just don't know how to close out games. But we have a legitimate shot of not winning another game this season and finishing 3-14. And that should get you a top 3 pick. I am not interested in drafting a player in the top 3. I am looking to move back 5, 6 spots to 7 or 8, picking up a 2nd round pick and a 4th round pick, 2 rounds where we do not currently have a selection. And then I'm looking to do some damage after that. That is what I'm looking to do. Scotty T the man, or Scotty the man T, excuse me. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes? Try being an Eagles fan. We got Patullo, who sucks. You guys, correct me if I'm wrong. You're about to win a division again, and you have a chance to repeat as Super Bowl champions. Are you really trying to talk to me about your offensive coordinator struggles? Try being an Eagles fan. That's funny. Derek B, thank you for being a member for 50 months. Celebrate. Who writes? Injury equals losses. Bad roster construction equals non-competitiveness. Yeah, that's right. Injuries equal losses. Right? We lost to teams that I felt like we could have beat if we were healthy. Bad roster construction leads to being non-competitive. I agree with that. But again, you can circumvent some of that. For as injured and as banged up as we are, you can circumvent some of the incompetency we've seen with coaching. For as bad as we are, we shouldn't be playing as bad as we are showing on a weekly basis. We knew we had no depth. We saw that, and that was revealed in the summer, right? The preseason, I talked about this when we got our asses handed to us by the Patriots in that first preseason game. When we got bent over the following week, I forgot who we played, but we got beat up again. I think Jaden played in the second one against Cincinnati. And he scored a touchdown, and then we didn't do shit else the rest of the game, and our backups looked like ass. And then the Ravens game was cool, but that was another slap around fest, right? We were shown then you don't have any depth, bro. So if this thing somehow gets past your frontline starters, you, my friend, are in trouble. This is where coaching is supposed to come into play and say, hey, we're going to find a way to be competitive no matter what we are able to put on the field. And that's just not what this staff is about. Not defensively, at least. Offensively, sure. You know, Cliff has worked his way around this shit. It hasn't been pretty at all times, but we haven't looked like the defenses look on offense. Or, yeah, I said that right. The offense has at least been respectable. Swaggy P, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Our guy, Swaggy P, writes, I wanted us to at least put up a fight. Special teams and offense did, but D was non-existent. Wick came to the sideline just to be even worse. He is some sugar honey iced tea. On to Miami. You mean on to Madrid. But yes, on to Miami. The Dolphins are next on the schedule. Hashtag raise hell. And just so you guys know, this is in the works. I feel like I can say this now because we are supposed to do this. I don't know if it's actually going to happen, but it's supposed to. But we being the Kings, are supposed to be live streaming that game together on the Commanders Kings channel, watching it live Sunday morning, 9:30. So that'll be a cool event where we're live with you guys watching the game together. So that's supposed to be taking place on Sunday morning. I'm gonna be honest with you, not looking forward to that game in particular, but I am looking forward to chopping it up with y'all and the Kings live watching the game. I won't be as behind. I'm gonna put the game up on my computer screen. That's a lot faster than the television. I'll still be behind Rio, and nobody's gonna be able to get in front of him because he's still got the cord, right? He's still got Verizon Fios, so he's gonna be ahead of everybody. But I won't be 30 seconds behind. I'll probably be like 10, 12 seconds behind now. But looking forward to it nonetheless. Yeah, Joe Witt stinks. And at some point, you got to do something. I truly believe at some point, you got to do something. You got to shake some things up. If you're Dan Quinn, you got to make some moves. You can't just continue to do the same thing. And I know that the whole him being down on the field was an attempt at doing something different. They've been doing things different. And I applauded them for that. You know, I talked about that during the course of the week. They were doing different things, you know, changing up the way they were doing meetings, changing up the way they were communicating with players, asking them questions. Why did you do this? Why did you do this? What are you seeing here? Like trying to be a little bit more hands-on. None of that shit has worked. None of that shit has worked. So you've done everything you can do. It's like having a kid and you've done everything you could to try to get him or her to be better in school, and then you realize he just need a new teacher, bro. We did everything we could do, and the teacher's just not getting through. Let's get him a new teacher. Let's get him a new instructor. That's kind of where I'm at now. Like, we tried everything, right? Everything so you didn't have to fire the defensive coordinator. You tried that. Changing meetings, how you go about meetings, walkthroughs, coming down from coming down from the booth. You gave us every reason why he should stay up there. The only thing that you told us coming down was going to help was with energy. If that's the best reason you got for him coming down, was they need to feel his energy, the communication when they come off the field. Man, if you don't get the hell out of our face with that bullshit. Rob you, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Rob you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Rights. There were wide receivers wide open the entire day. You don't say, Rob you. You don't say. Yeah. No, they were open everywhere, Rob you. Like, this was worse than last week because every time a Lions receiver caught the ball, there was no commander within 5 yards in any direction. Like, I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Seriously? I don't even need to go down that road. Jason Rogers, Uncle Jay, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, 94 used his PTO mid-game. He wasn't trying to play. Did y'all see the clip of Bobby Wagner having to try to talk Daron Payne into keeping his head into the game last week as we were getting drubbed by Seattle? It went something to the effect of, hey, man, I need you to keep your head in the game. We need you, bro. We coming back in this game. We need you. Come on, man. And Daron just looking despondent on the sideline like, man, F what you talking about, bro. Trying to get the hell up out of here, man. We've seen Daron check out in lost seasons before. We've seen Daron not have the best of attitudes when shit starts to go sideways. I don't need to remind you about Dallas on a Sunday night back in 2021. So this is not new. This is who Deron has been. And like I said, love me some Deron Payne. I would have traded his ass at the trade deadline if anybody was interested. I'm not sure if anybody was, though. You know, we are the champions of trying to pawn our stuff off on people that we don't want anymore. Like, just because we don't want it, somebody else does. I don't know if anybody else wanted Deron Payne, but I damn sure would have checked in to see if anybody was interested. He definitely was like, yeah, get me the hell out of here. Because he hauled off and hit that man. And again, I don't know what he could have said or what he could have done, but he hauled off and hit that man on some end of the Seahawks game when Trent Williams straight mushed Richard Sherman. When I don't know what Dick Sherman said to him to make him want to smush him like that, but that's essentially what Deron Payne did to your boy. And I did not see that shit coming at all. Trevor Patch, thank you for being a member for 47 months. Salute. Who writes, talking about picking up picks, try not to mess up possibly getting a king's ransom with a top pick. Say it ain't so, Lou. Could AP make the right decision after no action at the trade deadline? Look, I don't know if, AP is capable of doing this, that, or the third. All I know is I want the opportunity. That's it. I don't know, like, we talk about the Jets and how they killed it at the trade deadline. Herbert hurt. He gonna get fined for that too. That looked like a hip drop. I don't know if AP is capable of going out and making smart decisions with these picks. We saw him trade back with the Eagles. That didn't go well for us. Eagles got the better player out of the deal, and we didn't get shit out of the picks that he made, the selections he made. So I can't say wholeheartedly that he's going to make, great decisions after trading back if he is to get that done. But I just want the option. I just want the option to be able to trade back. I just want more picks, not less. I want more swings at the pinata, not less. I want more bites at the apple. How many more of these analogies and idioms you need? Rob, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. He says, hard to find another win on the schedule. I already told you, I see 3-14 in our future. Like, look at our schedule. Who the hell we beating? You tell me right now, who are we going to beat? I'll wait. Because every single team that I done seen on the schedule either play defense or they play offense. Either way, we ain't got shit for them. Minnesota play defense. Denver play defense. The Giants play defense. Dallas play offense. Philadelphia do both. Who you beating? Miami play offense and a little sprinkle of defense. So, yeah. I don't know who the hell we beating either. He don't know where the damn ball at. That's a touchdown. He don't know where the damn ball at. Come on, young fella. Get your life together. I don't see another win on the schedule either. You preaching to the choir. You are preaching to the choir. Rob, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, need more Senate and Burks. I don't know if you're going to get more Senate. You're going to get plenty of Burks, though. Plenty of Burks. The Daywalker looked good today, man. The Daywalker was getting active at night. I must say. The Daywalker was getting active at night. I want to see more, too. I agree. I want to see more, too. So, Senate scored a touchdown tonight. Hey, how about that? But as much as we want to see, Zach played well. They're not taking Zach Ertz off the field. You guys know what this is. DQ is out here fighting for his life, bro. Any and everything he can do to try to win, he's going to do it. He is not taking off the field veterans that can still help this team. So you can miss DQ and Adam Peters and anybody else with, we need to see the young guys. They don't give a shit about none of that. They trying to win football games. That whole tank for this, they ain't trying to hit none of that shit. They trying to win football games. That's why they're going to bring Jaden, Terry, Noah, all them dudes back after the bye in week 13 versus Denver because they trying to win. They ain't trying to hear that shit we talking. Good thing for us is it don't matter what they talking about. It don't matter that Jaden and Terry and Noah, all them dudes might be coming back. None of that shit matters. And Will Harris, that ain't going to fix this defense. Will Harris ain't going to fix this defense. They trying to turn Will Harris into an urban legend. They trying to turn this man into a folklore legend. They trying to turn him into Sean Taylor. It's Will Harris, bro. We were getting cooked with Will Harris in week 2 against Green Bay. Let's not act like Will Harris was out here controlling the show, getting everybody lined up and making plays. I don't know where the hell you find another win at, and I'm looking forward to seeing more Treylon Burks. I don't expect to see too much more Ben Sinnott. What you get is what you get. Video channel. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Video channel writes, Lou, what's up, video channel? Can we talk about how Quinn is sacrificing players for his own salvation? I already talked about this. This is why they're bringing back all these dudes that they could just shut down for the season. Trey and Dorrance were compromised before games. Yeah, Trey was hurt going into tonight's game. That is correct. But again, if they're healthy, you desperate, you're going to put them out there. Dorrance was definitely compromised. He had no business. And I don't think Trey's injury tonight had anything to do with the injuries he sustained last week. That's where we differ. Dorrance's injury definitely, to me, had an impact from the week prior to the one that he sustained against Dallas. So I do think there was a correlation there. But I can't prove that. I can't confirm that. Right. But I agree with you that DQ is putting dudes out there, based off of trying to save his hide instead of thinking about the well-being of these players from a longevity and he's not thinking about next year. He's not thinking about next year. He's just thinking about how can we win this year. Leaving 5 in the fourth, yeah, no. He already came back and admitted he effed up. He missed the mark on that one. Man is not fit to lead this team going forward. I can't co-sign that, but I totally understand where you're coming from. I totally get it. And you are totally justified in feeling that way. I can't co-sign it, but I get it. I totally get it. I totally get it. And you're not wrong about him being, I called him selfish. You're not wrong about that. King of the North, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy, King of the North, writes, Lou, this is very sad. I am aware, but this is a chance to make money. I had $200 on the Lions tonight, -7.5. Easy money. Miami is currently a 1.5 point favorite next week. Ha, 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 ha. I'll see y'all at the bank. Again, I tell anybody that listens, bro, they are giving you opportunities. When your team stinks, nobody knows more about your team than anybody else. I don't give a shit what Vegas is talking about. I know my team more than Vegas. So you watched enough of this team to know Miami beating us by more than 2 points. So you just can take that. Right? Just like you knew the Lions was 7.5 points. The number couldn't be big enough. You knew we were losing this game by 3 touchdowns. They're not going to have us as, this ain't college football. We weren't going to be 22.5 point favorite dogs in this game. So, they're giving you opportunities to get dubs. And that's why I'm like, can I just get mine? Can I just get my shit off? At least let me do that. Get some, hey, this team ain't going to get you no wins. You got to go get your own wins out here. You got to go get your own wins. They're not going to get nothing for you. You go get them. Go get the money. Go get the money. Go get the money. Go get the money. Mab, 22. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, even if JD played, this would have happened. Only real sustained loss was Terry, and we look this bad. I'm not comfortable with the realization that we're a couple of injuries away from this being the offense we put out weekly. But that's where we are. And again, this is where you got to start having the AP conversation, because no way we should be one injury at the receiver position, which is what happened to Terry, away from this offense looking like this. The offensive line is virtually intact. We lost Austin Eckler. Okay, yeah, he was a big part of the offense, but like to the extent that we can't throw the ball to the running back out of the backfield, I think not. Like you can continue to have offense without Austin Eckler. The rest of that running back room should have been enough to fill in for him. You've been virtually healthy at the tight end position. Like, it's really just been wide receiver on offense along with Jaden at the quarterback position. But to your point, when Jaden was out there without Terry, it hasn't looked good. Yeah, one game that looked good, and that was against the Chargers. And you could argue, you can't say minus the turnovers because those turnovers happen. He looked good against Chicago too. But he did throw a pick, and he did have the gut-wrenching fumble that lost us the game. But other than that, he looked really good in that game. So it's been a struggle for Jaden this season, and largely in part because he ain't had nobody to get the football to. And again, that's AP's doing. He thought it was okay to go into the season knowing that Noah Brown has not played a full NFL season in his life. He thought it was okay to bring him in as your third receiver. And again, because again, even if Terry stays healthy and you got Terry and Debo, somebody else is going to have to step up because Noah Brown was out. And who was that going to be? We still would have been somewhat in trouble, but we would have been a lot more functionable, right? We would have been able to function a lot more with Terry out there. We saw what Terry, in a small sample size against Kansas City, what Terry brings to the table. But again, this is the roster that AP assembled. This is the roster that he assembled. So those are the questions you got to ask him. King of the North, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, Lou, my girlfriend is an Eagles fan. Shaking my head. Damn, bro. Shit. When Payne got ejected, she was like, can you blame him? He's had enough. This is the worst football I've ever watched. The man has pride, at least. We can't justify a team captain getting ejected from the game in the second quarter for throwing a punch. You can't do that. Yeah, I don't know what was said. I don't know what he felt needed to be done, but you can't do that. There is never a space where that is acceptable behavior on the field. Now, if you like, yo, I'm going to meet you in the hallway after the game, et cetera, cool. But that's a team captain for the game. You can't do that. You can't lose your cool like that. I have to admit, she's got a point. I can't agree with, I can't co-sign that, but I can say that he was fed up. Clearly, he reached a boiling point. Again, I don't know what that is, what was said, but I honestly just think he was ready to get the hell up out of there. Like, get me out of here, bro. Get me the hell up out of here. And he found a way. He got himself up out of there. Yoshi, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. I can see my picks for this game going straight to hell in a handbasket because neither team can score no damn points. This is ridiculous. Yoshi, thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, I wanted 50 from the Lions, Lou, but I'm fine with this too. Mob should be full tank mode. Top 5 or pick or bust. Also, it's time to pull the plug on Bill for now. He's not ready. As for the fights, nice culture, Quinn. Laughing my ass off. I'm not pulling the plug on Bill. He was fine today. Better than he was last week. But I think that he's a guy that, you see the talent, you see the potential. He just, again, he needs reps. He needs to play more, not less. And I knew they were going to go to C-Rod to start this game off because they were not happy with Bill last week. But even in some of the runs today, you saw Bill is still the more dynamic of, all the runners in the room. And he has the highest ceiling. Does that preclude you from drafting a running back this year? No, it shouldn't. And Bill may not be what we need him to be, right? He may never turn into that dynamic running back that we thought he could be back in week 5 when he lit the Chargers up. But I still got, that's the only dude I got hopium for left in my drawer. I got a hopium vial in my drawer with a label on it that says Bill. And I'm not throwing that away. All the rest of that shit gone. All the rest of that hopium gone. I had some Jordan McGee hopium. I might try to cop some more because I still believe in him, but I don't got no more Jordan McGee hopium right now. I don't. So I think I got to cop some more though, because I do believe he's gonna be A-okay when it's all said and done. But I think I got to cop some more. But I still got Bill hopium. Christopher McLaughlin, thank you for being a member for 35 months. Who writes, "Hey Lou, what's up, Chris? Hope all is well with you and the family. Likewise, as always." C-Mac writes, "Hopefully on the road to recovery from sick too." Questions. If you're talking about yourself, I hope you feel better, man. Hopefully you are feeling better if you're talking about yourself. 1, what do you think of Treylon Burks as wide receiver 2/3? 3, not 2. I'm interested. I'm intrigued. I need to see more. But I said this earlier. I'm not opposed to him being the replacement for Noah Brown next year. It looks like, because we're going to need a big physical receiver to fill that void once Noah Brown's no longer here. And again, you're asking a guy who has had a less than stellar, I'm trying to put this in a way where I don't have to knock on wood, a less than stellar medical report to do the thing that Noah Brown wasn't able to do here. So that's the one thing I worry about. You did that last year. You relied on a guy who hasn't been able to stay healthy last year, and look where it got you. Do you really want to do that again this year or next year? That's the only thing about Treylon Burks. And why? And I just told you why. I like the talent. Knew he was talented. I don't think he can, do the thing that Noah Brown can't do. And I need to see it. I need to see it like consistently. It was cool tonight. Tonight was refreshing. Need more of it though. 2, what 3? He says 2. What 3 questions would you ask Peters and Quinn about the season unfiltered? I'd have to sit down and like map it out. I'd really have to sit down and map out what questions, because I know I could ask some 3 really, really good questions. But I'd have to sit down and really think about what's the, if you told me I only had 3 questions, I want to make them count. I'd have to sit down and map it out. Number 1 Mando fan, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, if we lose out, which seems likely, AP needs to clean house with the coaching staff, hire Brian Flores, and find a good OC. We're not that far off. Okay, well, he's not going to do that. He's not cleaning house with the coaching staff. He's not hiring Brian Flores. And so you can go ahead and put that to rest right now. That's not even remotely close to what, Rodgers, right to the opposition. He's not even remotely close to doing anything like that. So Ethan Dykes, hey, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, was at the game, Louie. Fans hung in there. I actually thought the fans did hang in there. They showed a shot like early stages of the fourth, I think it was. I want to say it was right when Debo scored that touchdown. There was still a lot of burgundy and gold fans in there. I was like, oh, look at y'all. It wasn't until the I want to say that last drive where Jared Goff was in, where I think it was right after that. It was when Jared Goff was no longer in. It was when Kyle Allen came in. When Kyle Allen came in, they had a pan shot around the stadium, and it was a lot of blue down in the lower bowls. Like, golly. You know, the fans hung in there. There was a lot of Lions fans, though. I'm not gonna front. It was a lot of Lions fans, but they showed up. The fans showed up. But I'm telling you, it's gonna get progressively worse. It's only gonna get worse. It's only gonna go down from here. Going downhill from here. Kimura, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Kimura writes, Carnell Tate. Y'all have at that, man. Y'all have at it. Rubino, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, Dan Quinn should get the same blame as Joe Witt for this defense. Is this not his scheme? Feel like I'm watching 11 Michael Davises on the field. I can't say that this is Dan Quinn's scheme. I think he believes in some of the principles and some of the things that are being taught and done. But I can't say that this is his scheme necessarily. But you're not wrong. DQ should get blame. I don't know if he should get as much of the blame as, because he's not the play caller right now. He has influence, but he's not the play caller. So I can't say that they should split the blame, but DQ's not absolved from wrongdoing here. He's not absolved from wrongdoing. Melvin Glossen, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Melvin writes, he said, this is the type of time DQ on. Fourth quarter, last game is when he'll debut K. Medrano. Yeah. Look, until there's no chance of us having a season, like the season has to be officially dead. That's when I think you'll start to see him do the things that we need him to do. So mathematically being eliminated, which is going to happen very shortly, will be mathematically eliminated. I'd say by week 14, we'll be mathematically eliminated. And going into that Vikings game is when you can start to maybe see some guys get some run. That's when you need to start shutting guys. Because then we'll be, at that point, 3-9. You're not making the playoffs at 3-9. So maybe he'll start to realize, but you're probably right. It'll be that week 18 game against the Eagles in Philadelphia where he'll finally take the bubble wrap off of K. Medrano. Like, here's the fear. And I've had people tell me this. There's a reason why they won't put some of these dudes in the game. They can't play. Like, they're not good. And again, we got to start having a conversation about what is AP doing. Like, none of us were clamoring for K. Medrano when he was selected in the 6th round. I wasn't. You weren't. We psyched ourselves up. Oh, he's fast. He's the fastest, most athletic linebacker. The man went to UCLA. That's why he's here. He went to UCLA. I'm going to keep it a bean with you. That's why he's here. He went to UCLA. And because he went to UCLA, because the linebackers coach went to UCLA, coached at UCLA, K. Medrano's here. And in my mind, I'm starting to look around at some shit. To be honest with y'all, I'm starting to look around, and I don't like what I'm seeing, and it's making me ask questions that I don't want to ask. Like, I know one thing I said today. I said this to Rio in our group chat. He being Adam Peters, but they better get this Josh Conley Jr. And I actually thought he looked good today, but they better get that shit right. Because I'm seeing way too many talented dudes that they passed on to draft his ass at the back end of the 1st round, that if the shit don't work out, I'm going to be pissed off. I'm just keeping a buck with you. I know y'all watched the Patriots play today. And I don't know if I was necessarily on board with drafting Travion Henderson in the first round. I don't know if I was really interested in that. I'm going to be honest with you. I was more so hoping we could somehow get him in the second round. But shit, picks is picks. Players is players. You get the best players when you can get them. Luther Burden is going to be a dog. I wanted Luther Burden at 27 or 29 or wherever the hell we was picking. He's going to be a dog. Watch. And I'm seeing a lot of these dudes where I'm like, Nick Manawari, he's a dog. I've already seen it. So I'm just like, and I think Josh Conley Jr., he's getting better. He's getting better. But he better be right about him. Because I'm starting to clock now. Now you got me. This is what happens when shit starts to go sideways. Now you got me clocking. Now you got me saying you could have got Jalen Lane in the 6th round. I don't think nobody else was going to fight you for Jalen Lane. You didn't have to spend our 4th round pick on a dude that really just plays special teams. You could have did that in the 6th round. You didn't have to do that in the 4th round. You could have got us some real stuff in the 4th round. You didn't have to draft Kane Medrano at all. Now, what we also got to remember, and I know for some of you, this is a foreign concept. 6th round picks are actually not supposed to be good. Just so we're clear. Like 6th round picks aren't supposed to be guys that you're relying on. So we got to stop with this narrative like a 6th round pick is a 2nd round pick. It's a 6th round pick. If you hit on a 6th round pick, cool. Good for you. But 6th round picks, 7th round picks are exactly that. So we got to keep that in mind. 5th rounders, a little bit more like, hey, man, what we doing here? 5th rounders, you feel like that's the last round where I'm like, that's some shit we should be, hitting on. 6th round, I ain't tripping off a 6th round pick. So with Kane Medrano, I'm going to be honest with you. I really don't give a shit if he don't pan out. I'm not tripping off of him. I look at him like Dominique Hampton. It's an experiment. You try it. If it works, cool. If it doesn't, you move on. But when you got 5 players in a draft, Dominique Hampton, you could do that in a 9-player draft. You can do that in a 9. You could take a roll of the dice on a guy that you want to switch positions and see if it'll work out. You can do that with 9 players. You got a 5-player draft. I need you to really lock in on all 5 dudes with purpose. I need you to lock in. Waterboys Network. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Waterboys Network says, sing with me. Where do we go from here? I don't know, man. Why is my heart filled with so much fear? I don't know, man. I don't know where we go from here, man. I wish I could tell you. Down, I guess? We going down. Dum, dum, dum. We going down. I guess that's where we going. So I guess I can't tell you where we going. We going down. 3-14 feels real. Feels really real. Waldo Vision. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes? Sup, Lou? Are you in the depression stage yet? Nah, not because today was expected. No depression. Depression will set in. Like I will say, I had a brief bout today. So yeah, sort of, kind of, not really. I was watching the Patriots-Bucks game, and I was like, I had one of those moments. Hello, is it me you're looking for? Like, I'm watching them, and I'm just having that flashback to last year. Like, damn, I remember when that was us. Going on the road, doing the shit that everybody said we couldn't do. Watching Drake May throw touchdown passes to receivers and uplifting his team. Watching your coach elevate his team, making great decision after great decision. And I told you the Patriots are they're literally stealing from our playbook from last year. They're doing it better than us, though, right? In the regular season, at least, because I don't know if there's a 3-game losing streak, and they're going to win their division if they don't fall off of a cliff, right? We didn't win our division, and we weren't able to go on the road and beat Philadelphia last year. They've already gone to Buffalo and beaten them, right? So they're 8-2. We were never 8-2 last year. So they on some next level shit. But I definitely had a little, just it was a fleeting thought where I was like, damn, I remember when that was us. But I snapped out of it like that really quickly. This week was expected. The depression will set in when we start seeing the charts for in the hunt. That shit's coming probably in the next 2 weeks or so, right around Thanksgiving. That's when the depression is going to start to set in for me. When I see everybody fighting for their playoff lives, really getting after it, games starting to mean shit, and we over here, talking about a week 14 game with the Vikings or the week 15 game with the Giants, and realizing this shit sucks, bro. Like today, it set in like the disrespect that's coming, which is deserved, by the way. We earned this disrespect. We were supposed to be America's game of the week, right? Brady, I talked about this already. Yeah, Brady and Kevin Burkhardt and that whole crew. Aaron Andrews was supposed to do the game today. Tom Rinaldi, we were supposed to get the 18. And they demoted us to Jonathan Vilma and Kenny Albert. And it just was nasty work today. And that's more of that is coming. We deserve this. We earn this. So it's starting to set in. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if we get flexed. Like, if Jaden Daniels is going to be back, they might not flex us out of that Sunday night game against the Denver Broncos. They might leave us there. But if I were them, I wouldn't even chance it. Just get us the hell out of there. Personally, I just get us the hell out of there. We stink. Get us the hell up out of there. No, I'm not in the depression stage yet. It's coming, though. It'll probably be here in the next 2 weeks, right around Thanksgiving, when we start seeing the in the hunt shit and we're nowhere to be found. And then you start seeing the X by our name, when you look at the standings. And if you already eliminated, it's a little E by your name. If you got an X, you already clinched the playoff berth. If you got an E, you already eliminated. When I see that E next star, that's when the shit starts to set in. Random call. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Random call writes, can't recall a blitzing safety or corner all year. You can look, but you won't find one. You can look. You'd be hard pressed. You might find one, maybe. Maybe you might find one in there somewhere. You'd be hard pressed, though. Not even a match zone. Can't even remember this many 21-point losses in a row. What's crazy is we've seen some bad football around here. Really, really bad. And look, 2023, we don't got to go that far back. We don't got to go back to 2019. Just go back to 2023. Shit got really dark fast in 2023. And it was ass whooping after ass whooping after ass whooping after ass whooping. So we can't act like we haven't been here before, because we have. But again, this feels different because that season didn't turn into ass whoopingville, USA until the shit was over. We had our spirits officially broken by the loss to Seattle in I want to say it was week 10. Might have been week 11. We had our spirits officially broken in that game. And that's when the wheels started to fall off. But we were competitive up until that point. There was the occasional ass whooping like the one against Chicago, but we were super competitive. We couldn't find ways to win. This is just straight ass whoopings, bro. And we were supposed to be competitive this year. This straight ass whoopings. Right? This shit is crazy. Jaquan Cooper, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Shout out to Jaquan. MP, thank you for being a member for 49 months. Celebrate! Who writes, early supers are in. Salute and hit the like button, y'all. I appreciate the public service announcement. So let me see what I can do to pull these comments up. See what we can get done. All right. Oh, okay. So let's see if I can get the screen back up. I might not be able to get it back up because I didn't think about it, but let's see if I can get it back up. So let's get these back up. So this is from JP Finley, and this is shout out to our girl MP, the realist, aka Miss Perry, aka Condo P, aka Playoff P, aka the legendary Miss P. Y'all know what it is. Javon Kinlaw says Amon-Ra St. Brown punched Payne first, and how the ref handled it was BS. So I wanted to know what happened to make him do that. If the man put it like that's the age old timeless way to handle some shit. If somebody put their hands on you first, you got to hit them back. That's how we teach the kids, and it'll never change. You don't start nothing, but you will definitely finish that shit. So if that's what happened, then I ain't mad at Deron. I ain't mad at him. I ain't mad at him. All right, let's see what we got. So we got a couple of new members. Pixel, stand up, along with Carson Chavis. You are the newest members of the MOBB mob. You know what to do. Show Pixel and Carson Chavis some love. Welcome them with open arms to the MOBB mob. We need that love right now. They need that love right now. Welcome to the squad. Pixel and Carson Chavis, glad to have you on board. All right. Shadow Striker, 789. Turn it sideways. Oh, that didn't do much. He says, first of all, thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Thank you for the super chat. Right. Had a lay of lines minus 20.5. Golf 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, but chickened out. Shaking my head. Hate it here. Damn, you would have hit all 3 of them shits. And that probably would have been some big money. I'm talking a lot of money. That sounds like a lot of money. Spence Calise, thank you for being a member of the MOBB. For 39 months. Salute, who writes, no heart, no talent, no defense, no coaching. There was a lot going on there. A lot going on in that comment, but you're not wrong. And you're not wrong for feeling the way that you feel. Shout out to Condo P for the early soups and comments. Really appreciate you. Yeah. Really unfortunate set of circumstances today. And I think we got to turn our attention to the coaching staff for sure to really get a sense of how things are going, how they're going to go, and whether or not we're able to get out of this funk or not. So, we're going to see. Anyway, I digress. Let's continue on. Paulie times 2. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Paulie times 2. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, Lou, if you were at Peters in the offseason, I'm guessing if you were Adam Peters in the offseason, what would you do with this defense? I would gut it, right? Like, so there's certain pieces that you can win with, but you have to get younger on defense. That's the first priority of this defense in the offseason. And I would gut all of the irrelevant pieces. There aren't many guys that are here as backups or, been thrusted into the lineup that need to be here next year, right? So you don't need Preston Smith. You don't need Von Miller. You don't need Sheldon Day. Like, I would gut the entirety of this team, backups and all, and just keep the bare essentials and build around that. You can go get some younger backups that can help you in this league that aren't going to cost you a lot on the defensive line. You can find better linebacker play, right? I saw Flanagan Fowles, who was a 49er, that you probably are well aware. He could have been here. He's in it with the Giants. He was hooping today for the Giants. against the Bears. Hoping. You can find some guys at linebacker, come in here and be better backups. So I would gut this defense. You would obviously bring back Javon Kinlaw. He's under contract. You don't need to do anything there. Frankie Louvu would be back. Johnny Newton's still on the contract on a rookie deal, so he'd be back. But Duran would be gone next year. I would bring Jacob Martin back. I would bring him back. Let him play the role that he was designed to play here. So I would bring Jacob Martin back. But Duran would be gone. Vaughn would be gone. Preston Smith would be gone. Sheldon Day would be gone. Noah Igbenogany would be gone. And not that he's done anything wrong. It's just like clearly you spoke about how you feel about Noah Igbenogany. He hasn't even been active the last couple of weeks until this week because of necessity, out of necessity. So you've spoken on how you feel about him. So just move on from him then. So I'd move on from Noah Igbenogany. I would move on from Jonathan Jones. I would move on from Dietrich Wise, all the old guys, right? Sorry that it didn't work out. Move on from him. And I start anew, right? Mikey, Trey Amos, Marshawn Lattimore gone, right? And we just start over, bro. Go get us some corners in free agency. Go get you some free agents. Go get you some guys in the draft. And let's start this shit all over again. You got to find, and look, it's still going to be, you're going to have to find a slew of guys that are going to come here as Band-Aid solutions, one-year deals, etc. That still got to happen, right? But you need more of those 3-year contract guys that you signed the first time around. You need more of those Tyler Biadishes. You need more of those Frankie Louvus, more of those Dorrance Armstrongs. You need more of the Javon Kinlaws, those guys that you signed to multi-year, 3-year contracts for solid money. You need more of those guys here and less of the 1-year, $2.5 million dudes who are Band-Aid solutions, less of the aging veterans, which, again, I get why you did all of that, right? Our timeline got expedited by a trip to the NFC Championship game. You were trying to balance two things at once. You were trying to balance roster recalibration, all the while trying to win a championship. And those two things are not conducive to being done simultaneously. And so we tried to skip steps. I am not upset about trying to skip steps. We tried and it failed. Now you got to be honest with yourself and realize that you truly have to go through that recalibration. You truly have to go through that. You do need to build this roster up the correct way, which is why I hope we end up with a top 3 pick that we can trade back from and pick up draft picks and then really start to build this thing the way that it needs to be built. King of the North, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes? We can't beat anyone, anywhere, at any time. No, not right now. We can't beat the Dolphins in Madrid at 9:30 in the morning. No, we can't. That's the true definition of anybody, anywhere, anytime. Miami Dolphins in Madrid at 9:30 in the morning, East Coast. Not happening. Not happening. GT7, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Who writes? How steep you think the ransom amount was to get Jeremy back? Joe calling zone on 4th and 1. Awesome. You got to love it, right? Soft ass zone coverage on 4th and 1. Classic Joe, man. Classic Joe with Junior. Yeah, I don't know what the amount was, what the ransom amount was. I don't know. But this sucks, bro. I hate it here. GT7. I hate it here, bro. With a passion. I hate this shit, man. Seriously. I do. John Perez, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. John Perez, my guy. JP, thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Writes, we have to draft a first-round DN or Perkins, the LSU linebacker. I'm again in one ear, out the other. Shoo, shoo, right over my head. I'm not there, bro. All I am concerned with is the pick itself. Who they take with that pick, I'm not concerned with that right now. I'm not playing that game. You know what I mean? Because I just want to see where we end up. That's what I'm concerned with. Because where we end up can go a long way in determining how many picks we end up with ultimately and how much damage we can do in the draft. I'm not concerned right now with who we take with that pick because so many things can change. So many things can change between now and April or May, whatever the draft is. So much can change. So I'm not concerning myself with that. Too much time between now and then. I just want to know where the hell we going to be picking at. That's what I'm more concerned with right now. Big Dog. Been a member for 16 months. Who writes, hey, Lou, nothing to say but hit the like button. Y'all heard the man. Y'all haven't already done so. Hit the like button. Really, truly do appreciate you. Doesn't cost you a thing, but it really helps this channel grow exponentially. Can't thank y'all enough for the support and the public service announcements. I like a 2-to-1 ratio, so we can do so much better. There's just a shade under 1,000 of y'all out there, yet we are only at 355 likes. So if you haven't hit the like button and you actually like the content, you would really be doing me a huge favor if you just hit the like button. So thank you for that. Red House, not Roadhouse. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Red House, not Roadhouse writes, thank God Lou ain't say 6th or 7th spot in the draft. Nah. Look, first of all, I'm not a teenager. I'm not a little kid. Okay. So you ain't got to worry about me saying no goofy ass shit like that. I'll leave that type of shit for the kids, man. I'll leave that for the kids. William Rogers Jr. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, should the upcoming draft be all defensive players? No, because we need help on offense too. You don't think we need a receiver? You don't think we need to take a receiver at all at any point in the draft? Yeah, no. We definitely could use a lot of defensive help, but we could use some help on offense too. Like, if you find a dynamic back, do you turn that down in the draft? No. Right? Like, if you can get your hands on Jeremiah Love, would you say no to that? Who says no to that? Hell no, you don't say no to that. Right? Like, so you can't just say, and I know you were asking, you weren't saying that's what we need to do. But would I be opposed to an all defensive draft? No, because we need that much help on the defensive side of the football. There's not a single position we can't use on the defensive side of football. We can use a safety, we can use multiple corners, we can use probably multiple linebackers, but at least one, and we could definitely use 2 defensive tackles and 2 defensive ends. So yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to the entire draft being defensive players, but I don't think that's the way that they're going to conduct business here. And I don't know if that needs to be the case anyway. So I digress. Doug H. Been a member for 3 months. Really appreciate you. Doug H. writes, I'm right with you, Lou. Everybody win except us. Damn. I mean, I'm looking around at all of the garbage ass teams, all the teams that we said were garbage, right? The Titans were off. But the Saints won. The Jets won. And I'm just saying, bro, I can see the Saints winning again. Their division is not great. They got more division games left. What's stopping them from sneaking up and beating Atlanta? Nothing. The Jets are going to continue to be competitive. I'm not telling you they're going to win, but I can see them sneaking somebody. I think they've used up both of their Dolphin games already, so I don't think they're going to be able to beat them. But I see a lot of teams that at one point I was like, I don't know how they get to 3 wins. I see a lot of teams getting to 3 wins now, and I don't know how we get off of 3 right now. So we're gonna have a shot. It might come down to strength of schedule, this, that, and the third. And I'm so far removed from that whole conversation of strength of schedule. I remember I knew how all that shit worked 2 years ago. Strength of schedule, what needed to happen. I knew all the formulas. I don't remember none of that shit. I erased all because that shit is loser talk. That's loser mentality. I erased the minute that was no longer my life. I erased all of that shit from my memory bank, every last bit of it. And I was like, I never want to do that shit again. I hate rooting against my team. I hate that shit with a passion, bro. It is the worst feeling to sit down at 105 or 425 or 405 or 815 and be like, man, I hope we lose this game. That's the worst feeling, bro. I hate that shit. That ain't even how I'm built. That's not even in my DNA. That's some man-made shit that I got to put in my body. That shit don't run and course through my veins. I got to go get some man-made shit and put it in my body to make me want to think that way. But what has to be done, right? This shit sucks. Mike Leslie. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Mike Leslie writes, what happened to this season, even with JD? Injuries. I mean, injuries are what happened. What we're finding, what the injuries have done is exposed a much larger problem that existed, but injuries are what happened to this season. Injuries are what happened. Winning cures all. Winning covers up a lot of shit. And we remember, this defense sucked last year. This roster wasn't good last year. All of this shit was true. The same shit that's true of this team this year was true of this team last year. Winning cured all of that. Winning cured all of that shit. The biggest difference was we stayed healthy. We stayed healthy and we won games. So we turned a blind eye to it. The defense was bad last year. Joe Witt wasn't a good defensive coordinator last year. I even gave him credit last year. He made the best out of a bad situation, man. The defense is terrible. No, he's terrible. He's terrible. This roster was terrible last year. We hid a lot of those things because we were able to win. Now you're losing and everything comes to the forefront. I look at it like, the season is our face. And winning is like clogged pores, so to speak. And so it suppresses all of the shit, all of the bumps and all of the pimples and all of the impurities that you have. You probably need to clean your face, but if you don't, you're probably going to be all right. You'll be all right. When you losing, though, that's like a cleanser. And it opens up your pores. It takes all of that dirt and filth off your face. But it's going to expose some impurities. Your face might be better off in the long run, which we're going to be better off because of this shit. We're going to be better off because we're losing right now, and it has exposed us, and it's going to force us to either be better or to make changes. One of the two is going to happen. Either we're going to be better because of this, or changes will have to be made so that we can get to being better. But this losing is like it's a cleanser and it's an exfoliator. And so now you cleaning your face and it feels great, but them pores are open and you're going to have some bumps and some pimples and some impurities pop up. But them shits got to come up in order for you to get to where you really want your face to be. And that's where we at right now. That's what this season has provided for us. Rev, loaded. Been a member for 13 months. Who writes, top 5 pick, trade back, get CD and elite edge, in my opinion. I'm guessing that's supposed to be cornerback. I'm not concerned with what we get with those picks right now. I'll let y'all have that. I'm concerned with the picks themselves. I'm looking to acquire, which is why I was disappointed at the trade deadline. I just want to acquire as many picks as possible, or the assets that will allow us to acquire as many picks as possible. So I'll let y'all discuss what positions, who we need to take, all that shit. I'll let y'all have that. That's y'all discussion. That ain't my discussion. I am concerned with how do we go from 6 picks, which is what we currently have, how do we turn that into 8 or 9? That's where my mind is. Y'all can figure out who the 6, 7, 8, 9 picks that we have, who they gonna be. I'll join y'all in that discussion a lot later down the line next year sometime. Right now, I'm just trying to take 6 and turn it into 8. That's what I'm trying to do. Wonton Slim, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Wonton Slim writes, speaking on the bondage of a singular winning seasons. Again, that winning last year was a gift and a curse. We talked about that already. It's a gift and a curse. You know, I wouldn't trade it for anything. I'm glad it happened. We as fans, we deserve that. We don't deserve this, but without that, we don't get this. So it goes both ways. But last year was everything, except for the championship ring. Last year was worth it. It was worth going through the shit we going through now. Last year was worth it. But it also gave us a taste of what it's like. And I want that shit back. And I'm willing to do whatever it takes for us to get back to that point again. So whatever it looks like, whatever we got to do to get ourselves back into that position, do that shit. Video channel. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes? It's time to give Donovan Edwards reps. You know, first of all, that's not happening. Like, again, y'all got to stop wanting to see every young guy and understand who your coaches are and where their mindset is. Like, our coaches are not in a position where they're trying to pull up practice squad guys and give them run. You got to first start with the dudes who are actually on the active roster who ain't getting run. Start there on the 53-man roster. You're going to need some real injuries to get to Donovan Edwards. And you got to remember, Chase Edmonds, 31-year-old Chase Edmonds, 29. I don't know how old he is. Whatever, he ain't a part of the solution. But Chase Edmonds is on the roster, on the practice squad. So before you get to Donovan Edwards, you got to get through Chase Edmonds first, more likely than not. So that shit ain't happening. So again, understand who your coaching staff is, understand what their agenda is, and then you just got to put your perspective. You got to shape your expectations around who your staff is and what their mindset is. DJ23, been a member for 33 months. Who writes, Lou, do we really trust AP with more picks? Do we have a choice? Do we have a choice? I mean, yes, we do. We could just take the slam dunk can't miss prospect like we did with Jaden. But yes, I trust AP. I already told you. I trust Adam Peters. I trust Adam Peters. I'm going to give him as much time as I feel like is necessary for him to have a chance to turn this shit around. Is he already a guy that I'm like questioning? Yeah, absolutely. But just because I question him doesn't mean I don't think he's incapable of doing the job. Even if he had killed his first 2 drafts, there still would have been things that I didn't like, and I still would be questioning him regardless. So I'm all in on AP and DQ right now. I'm still all in on those guys. But changes do have to be made. But yes, that's a fair question. Do I trust him with more picks? Very fair question. You know, that whole more picks thing in the second round in 2024's draft, how's that working out for us? I'd much rather have taken, Cooper DeJean. Much rather have taken Cooper DeJean than trading back and getting more picks, right? But again, hindsight is 2020. I want to trade back again. I may look back and say, damn, we could have had such and such. We traded back, got this guy instead. It's the same conversation we had back in 2022. We all look back on that draft now. We could have had so many different players from that draft. We traded back. We missed out on Kyle Hamilton. We missed out on Chris Olave. We missed out on Jamison Williams. We missed out on this dude, that dude, and that dude. We got all these guys, right? I think another one is the cornerback for the Chiefs. Somebody always brings up, I wanted the cornerback from the Chiefs, and he's a dog, right? All those guys were available, and we traded back and got Jahan Dotson. Picked up more picks. How'd that work out for us? It didn't. It didn't. But back then, we didn't trust the people that was making the selections. I trust the guy. And it may turn out to be the same exact thing, and we could have the same conversation and say, hey, he's just as bad as Ron was. But you gotta give him more time to prove that he can't. Can't just say that after 2 drafts that he can't. Shadow Striker 789. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Shadow Striker, thank you for being a member of the MOBB writes. Would be so rich ladder betting opposing teams to cover spreads against us. Dolphins line is only 2.5. Devin Achane will outscore us by 15 alone. Easy money this week. Next, you better bet those spreads. Yeah. That's where the money at for this team. That's where the money at. Betting the lines. You probably could take the money line too. Probably could do that too. GMT Dro. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Who writes? Bad seasons happen. They do. Terry will have a full offseason with the team. You assuming that let's hope you're right. Maybe they luck up on a star number 1 wide receiver with more upside than Terry. Maybe. Maybe they add upgrades of talent on defense, new defense and coordinators. Maybe. Like the only thing I can agree with you here on is bad seasons happen. Bad seasons happen. You get one of these injury-riddled seasons, and this shit can happen to you. But the only thing that I would say is that we couldn't afford the injuries, and it's cast a light on a lot of different things. Now, like for instance, and this is what I always caution people to be careful with, shit like this. So I'm hearing like, I can say this publicly. I've had conversations with Candy about players, specific players. And I won't mention all the players we've had conversations about, but I'll mention one in particular. And me and her have talked about Jalen Lane. And, you know, she's always trying to get the pulse of what everybody is saying. The fans are saying X, Y, Z. And I'm telling her like what the fans are saying about Jalen Lane and how a lot of fans have given up on him. You know, don't think he can play. They're questioning why he was a 4th-round pick, etc. And I think if there's anything you can do, you can question why he was a 4th-round pick. But what you got to also, and this is what I told Candy, I said, what you got to do is you got to look at Jalen Lane in the context in which he was drafted. And this is what people fail to do, because when you're mad, you don't think about that shit. You just look at the player and you take him at face value and you say, he can't catch. He offers little to no value as a receiver. He stinks. They didn't draft him for that, though, in the 4th round. And when you think about the context in which he was drafted, you got to understand we were coming off the NFC Championship. We weren't looking to make wholesale changes. We were looking to augment the roster that we already had, and we were looking to add to places that we didn't feel like we got value out of last year. Case in point. We felt like we could be better at the tackle positions. Why? Because last year we had to chip on just about every play that we knew we were trying to get into pass routes. You had to send the tight ends to chip, or you had to chip with the running back out of the backfield. So what did they do? They doubled down on the tackle position. They not only traded for Larry Tunsil, they drafted a tackle in the 1st round. So now we shouldn't have to do that anymore. It allows us to get 5 eligibles out into the route immediately, right? That was something that they felt like they could be better at. Another place that they thought they could be better at. Special teams returns. We got nothing out of our special teams from a return standpoint in the punt game in particular. They were excited. We saw our special teams coordinator, L to the Izzo, and how excited he was for Jalen Lane. Why? Because they felt like he was the best return man, punt return wise, in the draft. He's already proven his worth And here's the part that sucks. He's already proven that he can be dynamic back there, and we don't force punts. We don't force punts. So how is he able to show the one thing he was drafted to do? He's not able to showcase on a weekly basis. The thing that we didn't bring him here to do as a rookie was to come in here and have to play a starring role. If he had to play a very minor supporting cast, he was supposed to be an extra. He was supposed to be the guy on the phone. When you turn the corner, he's on the phone talking, acting like he's having a conversation with somebody. He ain't got no goddamn lines in this movie. He's an extra. Instead, this man has lines. He has a reoccurring character in this movie, and it was never supposed to be the case. And so because he's been put in this position too soon, a negative light has been cast upon Jalen Lane. And I don't think that's fair. It is what it is. But again, they didn't draft him. They didn't draft him to be here as your third receiver. That's not why they drafted him. When you look at the context of what last offseason was and what it was supposed to be and what it's ended up, everything's skewed. Everything's skewed. Zach Ertz was never meant to be here more than 1 year. Bobby Wagner was never meant to be here more than 1 year. That's why they drafted. That's why they drafted Ben Simmons in the second round, because he was supposed to learn from Zach Ertz for 1 year, and then he was supposed to take over. Jordan McGee was supposed to learn from Bobby Wagner for 1 year, and then he was supposed to take over. And then 2024 happened, and we had to run the shit back. Context matters. It sucks because you got a second round pick that you still haven't really seen play. So we don't know what the hell he can do. But we can't play that game of put Ben Simmons in. You weren't saying that back in February when we was like, hey, re-sign Zach Ertz. What y'all waiting on? Go ahead and get that shit done. And bring Bobby back too. You can't have it both ways. Those guys are here now. And they still think they can win. None of us agree with that, but we can't tell them not to put those guys in the game. Those guys give them a chance to win, more so than Ben Simmons does, Jordan McGee does, et cetera, et cetera. So, again, bad seasons happen. Yes, they do. But bad seasons when you don't have the proper roster, when you're really supposed to be still recalibrating, it can skew and alter the way that the perception of your roster and the way you feel, it changes that drastically. So this isn't just a one-off bad season. We'll be back next year. Maybe we are, but what it's done is it's forced us to evaluate everything. Bad seasons don't do that normally. If you've got a healthy situation, like how many times have the 49ers in the last decade had one of those seasons where it was injury riddled, they won 6 games, and you're like, God damn, that was rough. Like, I've talked to 49ers fans, and maybe it's time for us to move on. Like, shut up. My guy, Niners fan, I love him to death. He knows he's my guy. But Niners fan, you know, as fans, you get that way sometimes. You get in your feelings. Maybe it's time to move on from Kyle. We'll never win. I'm like, bro, stop. Kyle is the best. And then when they win, Kyle is this, Kyle is that. You know, like that's what being a fan is all about. At the end of the day, bad seasons happen, but this bad season happened to pull the entire curtain back on a program that was just starting, that we tried to skip steps on, and now we find ourselves having to face the music that you can't skip steps and you have to build this thing the right way. So that's kind of where we at right now. Kick is good. 59 yards. Kicker the dicker the kicker. Shadow Monk. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Shadow Monk writes, Looking at the Colts this morning and watching Tyler Warren, I'm just saying to myself, Jaden really needs a stud tight end. Yeah, that'd be nice. I did that thing last week though. That wasn't a epiphany for me this week. Nor was it last week. I've been saying that for a while, but last week was my tight end week where I went, man, this is some bullshit. We could really use a athletically gifted tight end. Like when Colston Loveland caught that pass against Cincinnati and ran for the touchdown. I saw a lot of dudes athletically doing shit that I just know we not capable of doing. And that's frustrating. But again, you want Tyler Warren, you need a top 15 pick for that. And honestly, he fell when he shouldn't have. He should have never gotten to Indianapolis. But you want stuff like the stuff that a lot of us admire, that's first round shit. That's first round. Now, it's a lot of other stuff that you look at now. That's a second round pick. That's a second round pick. That third round pick. You can get you one of those if you know what you're looking for. But I think a lot of us also, like, can we ask ourselves this question? Like, we thought we knew what the answer was. What the hell is a commander? Do we even know what we're looking for anymore? We back to the drawing board. We back to square one. We did a complete 360. We back in the same spot. What the hell is a commander? What are we looking for? DQ told us last year that the first year they didn't really know what a commander was. They were still trying to define that. Last year going into the draft, they knew what it was. They had already defined it. Now they knew what they were looking for. Do we truly know what the hell a commander is? Do we know what we're looking for? These are all questions that start to pop up when shit goes the way that it's gone this year. That shit sucks that we're even asking that question. Because we don't, that shouldn't be a question we haven't to ask ourselves, but that's where we at. It'd be nice to have a beast tight end. It'd be nice, but don't wrap your brain around that. Okay? Because you're probably not getting one of those. You want one of those Dalton Kincaids, you want one of those Tyler Warrens, you want one of those Colston Lovelands, those cost you a first round pick. Most likely, that's going to cost you a top 20 pick. You willing to spend that on the tight end? I don't think we're willing to spend that on a tight end. Now, you can find yourself a quality second round, third round tight end. Those are out there. Those are out there. But you got to know what you're looking for. Again, you got to know what you're looking for. Got to know what you're looking for. Will Diggs, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Who writes, Lou, loser football aside, what dish are you looking forward to the most this Thanksgiving? Every year. You know, I cook my own food for the most part. I'm looking forward to all of it, man. So I'm fasting right now. If you didn't know, I'm abstinent from alcohol. I always do this a month out from Thanksgiving. So this has been going on since the end of October. And I'm not really eating really good food right now. I mean, every now and again, like I ate kava today. So that's good food to me. I love kava. It's my favorite fast food. But I'm eating a lot of, simple stuff like quinoa, roasted squash, roasted Brussels sprouts. Really good, by the way. But I'm not eating nothing bomb, right? I'm saving all of that for Thanksgiving. My yams. Ain't nobody, I'm telling y'all, I make the best. Y'all can't touch my yams, bro. You ain't, and you wouldn't even know they were vegan yams. If I didn't tell you they were vegan, you wouldn't even know. All of the shit that I cook, you wouldn't know it was vegan if I didn't tell you. You only know it because I'm vegan, and you know if I'm cooking it and I'm eating it, it's vegan. That's the only way you would know. I make these pineapple. I make these pineapple square bars. Oh my God, they're so good, right? With cream cheese icing on the top of them. Come on, man, stop playing with me, bro. I'm gonna show y'all all of the shit that I make this Thanksgiving. So I got my pineapple bars. I make carrot cake. Stupid, dumb. Yams. I make I can't get anybody to try my I can't get anybody to try my cornbread because it's not really cornbread. It's almost like cake because I use like cake batter, so to speak, to make it. But I still put like corn in it. So it tastes really good. But it won't, because I messed up on it 2 years straight when I first started to try to like perfect the recipe. I messed up the first 2 years and now no one would try it. So I have to eat it by myself every year. But it's really good. If you try, you're like, oh, this shit bang right here. So I'm looking forward to all of that shit, bro. All of it. I can't wait. I can't wait. Jado, been a member for 24 months. Who writes, what up, Lou? What up, Jado? Are you team trade back or take a DN? I'm team trade back depending on where you at. You get to a certain spot in the draft and the trade back value isn't worth it. You got to be in the top 3, I think, if you want to trade back. If you're in 4 or 5, I don't think nobody coming up to get your pick. You got, and I don't know like the depth of the quarterback class this year and how many teams will actually need a quarterback and be willing to come up and get them. But if you want to have any real leverage, you got to be in the top 3. So, because usually the team with the number 1 pick or the number 2 pick, normally those teams need a quarterback. So they're not moving and they're going to take one. So that gives your pick even more value, right? If somebody ahead of you is willing to move out, that diminishes the value of your pick. So it just all depends on where we at. If we at 7, we're probably just going to stick around and just make a pick at 7. Like trading back to 12, 11, 12, 13 might not be the best thing to do. You might not get the best bang for your buck, so to speak. You trade out of the top 3 picks, you getting a whole hell of a lot to do that. You on some Houston Texans shit, right? Trade back. Then you could trade back up like they did. Remember, they took CJ Stroud and they traded back up to get Will Anderson because they had traded back. So then they was able to trade back up so they could get Will Anderson. You trade out of the first 3 picks, it allows you to do a lot of shit. So I'm team trade back depending on where we at. If not, I'm team take whatever the best player available is, whatever that looks like. D Moore, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. D Moore writes, draft and trade for 3 left tackles in 2 seasons. Smart. Well, remember, Brandon Coleman wasn't supposed to be a left tackle. They were hoping he could be a left tackle. But they remember the phone call to Brandon Coleman. AP said, you're going to help us somewhere on this offensive line. They tried him out at left tackle first. It didn't work. They moved him to guard. That was supposed to work. That's the shame of this all. Is if Brandon Coleman doesn't end up being your starting left guard next year, like there should be a real competition for left guard over the summer between he, Chris Paul, and whoever else they want to throw in the mix, but those 2 in particular. And if Chris Paul outduels him for the job, then Brandon Coleman was a wasted pick. Your 3rd rounder needs to be starting somewhere on the offensive line. So that needs to work out. And maybe the message got sent to him with him, being inactive, healthy scratch. Hopefully he gets the memo, comes in this camp in even better shape next year. Tremendous. Like Chris Paul remade his body, dedicated himself. The opportunity came. He took advantage of it. Good for him. Brandon Coleman need to do the same goddamn thing this offseason and come in here ready to win a job and help fortify this offensive line and earn his damn keep. But he wasn't drafted to specifically be a left tackle. They hoped he could be, but they knew that he more likely than not wasn't going to be. So they drafted 2, right? Well, drafted 1 and they traded for 1. I got no issues with it. Because we can't sit here and say you got to protect Jaden, and then when they go out and spend the resources to do it, we complaining about it. You can't have it both ways. Yeah, I want them to protect Jaden. So I'm all for it. All for it. Protect Jaden at all costs. Glizzy McGuire, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, what's DQ move this week? Hire and fire Ike Hilliard? I don't know, man. It worked for the Falcons. Why can't it work for us? Shit. It worked for the Falcons. Why can't it work for us? Gwizzy McGuire, or excuse me, Zip. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Zip writes, what's up, Lou? The team needs to wash their face and get their mind right for next year. Hell yeah. Turn on that cold ass spigot, wash their face, and get their mind right. I feel like a badass kid with all the BTAs this year, man. Hell yeah. It's been belt to ass city for us this year. Belt to ass city for us this season. I'm sick of it already, and we still got more ass whoopings to endure. We got a lot more ass whoopings to take. Just looking at my picks. None of these shits finna hit. What a lousy day, man. I had that 1,200 line. I can't get over that shit, bro. I'm hurting, man. I needed that one. Not as bad as I needed to win last week, but I needed that one, man. That would have made me feel great tonight. Glizzy McGuire, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, a 21-point L next week will set an NFL record of BTA. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't. But it's not out of the realm of possibility. I don't think the Dolphins are good enough to do what these teams that we have just played. Remember, this was the toughest stretch of our schedule. We talked about that already, right? Dallas, starting with Dallas, this was the toughest part of the schedule. So Dallas, then Kansas City, then Seattle, then Detroit. We knew this shit was tough. The Dolphins aren't on that level. I think they're going to beat us and beat us good, but not 21-point good. They might beat us by 13 or, 14 or 17 or something like that. I don't think this gets to the point where it's another, 37-17 on some, 38-17 bullshit or something like that. No, I don't see that happen. But yeah, we got a chance to. It can happen. I'll just say that it can happen. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I wouldn't rule it out. It can happen. Matt, been a member for 20 months. Who writes, what up, Lou? We're 2 and 3 drafts away from having a competitive team. That's if AP is as good as we hope he is. Never thought we'd end up here. I don't think we're that far away. I don't think we're that far away at all. You're one good offseason away from being competitive again. Like, again, context is everything, and it's easy for us to do the whole oh my God, we suck thing, because we do suck. But we would literally, you win the Bears game, and this season is different. Honestly. Even with all the injuries, you win the Bears game, and we still talking about winning next week to get to 5 and 6, and we still got a season on our hands. Like, everything changed drastically with the Bears loss. And all you wanted to do was have a chance to get to the bye week to get some of the stuff back to where you could have the conversation that we have a shot. So you're one win away from this Dolphins game setting the stage for you win, you go into your bye, at 5-6, and you got a chance to still have a season. Next year, you retool, you come back healthier, you get some more players on this roster, and all of a sudden, you right back in the mix. This is not a 3-year rebuild, all of that bullshit. We just got to do it the right way. You know, we tried to skip steps with a bunch of Band-Aid solutions and, you know, AP giving away draft picks and shit to try to, you know, again, I don't blame him for that. 2024 gave us a sense of, hey, we can go for it. And if he didn't go for it, we would have been killing him. We would have been killing him if he didn't go for it in the offseason. Not after what we had just come off of. We'd have killed him. We'd have crucified him. You can't have hindsight now and be upset because we went for it, it didn't work, and now we don't have any draft picks. It just sucks. But you got to, again, context is everything. So you're one offseason, a strong offseason, a healthy offseason away from being competitive again next year. To what degree? That I can't answer. But all we want to do is we just want to be a playoff team. With Jaden Daniels, we know if we get in the postseason, anything can happen. We know that. The goal ultimately is to win the division, get home playoff games. But let's just start with being a consistent playoff team, or a triple P, as I call it, a perennial playoff participant. Let's start with that. We had a chance to do that and establish ourselves as that. This year, we failed. Back to square zero, back to ground zero, rather. Back to square one. Now let's find a way to get it done next season. Start a new streak. I didn't think we would end up here either. None of us did. That's why it hurt so much. Because none of us foreshadowed and could foresee us being back to where we were just, you know, a year and a half ago. We thought this was behind us, that we weren't going to have to do this shit anymore. Y'all got me over here talking about strength of schedule again. I was done with that shit. I was done with that shit. We talking strength of schedule and bullshit like that again. I hate it here, bro. I hate it here. I hate it here. All right, we're going to get a quick word from one of our sponsors, Sleeper. Come back on the other side, and we're going to clean up the rest of these comments.
Sleeper. Sleeper is the best way to experience and connect over sports together. It's a one-stop shop for all of your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat in the games in real time with other users, get the fastest scores, blazing fast news and alerts right at your fingertips. Play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. So enjoy sports the way they were meant to, together. Download the #1 sports app today. Predict the hottest football stats like passing yards, receiving yards, touchdowns, interceptions, and much more to cash in on your daily fantasy football skills. Use promo code LTN, and Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. Sleeper.
All right, so Wrath of God. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Wrath of God writes, just sad that this front office has 2 second-round picks that ain't producing like second-rounders should. Yeah, no. That again, the level of scrutiny that is attached to those second-round picks is valid and it's warranted. Second-round picks, you have to hit on those. You have to. That's not optional. That's not something that's up for debate. You draft 3 guys in the second round, 2 of those 3 need to hit for sure. You really trying to hit on all 3 of them, though. You want to know how the Lions got good so fast? They sucked, and they made the most of all of those picks. The first round picks hit, the second round picks hit, some of them third round picks hit. Like, think about all of the success they had in the first 2 days of the draft. Amon-Ra St. Brown's the 3rd round pick. Brian Branch is a 2nd round pick. Jack Campbell is a 1st round pick. Jameson Williams is a 1st round pick. Jahmyr Gibbs is a 1st round pick. The kid they took this year from Georgia, the offensive lineman with the mullet. Penei Sewell's a first-round pick. Sam Laporta's a second-round pick. I think I said Brian Branch. If I didn't, Brian Branch is a second-round pick. Like, you got to hit on these shits. That's how you build your football team. Aleem McNeil, I think, is like a fifth-round pick or something like that. Fourth-round pick. Beast. Aiden Hutchinson, first-round pick. Like, they didn't suck in vain, right? I'm going to suck. I'm going to make sure I get some shit, and the shit that I get, it's going to be elite, and it's going to hit. We had a chance to do serious damage in 2024 with that draft class. And right now, it doesn't look like we came away with any of the guys that I just named for the Detroit Lions. The Texans, look at what they did, right? CJ Stroud and Will Anderson and Lassiter and Kalen Bullocks is a third-round pick. And Stingley is a first-round pick. And Petrie is a second-round pick. I can keep going. You can't miss. Like, you got to be hitting these shit. Them first 2 days are paramount to your success of building a sustainable winner. You missing in the first 2 days, you're going to have a tough time building a consistent winner. Miggy, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Miggy writes, "Sup, Lou? Sup, Miggy? The Miggity, man. Bo. Miggy writes, "Sup, Lou? Hope all is well. Likewise. I was thinking if they lose bad next week, you might need to do the command post in all black Jason mask. LOL. I mean, I expect them to lose next week. How bad? I don't know. We'll see. But I got no confidence in this team's ability to stop anybody right now. Anybody. I think Terrion Arnold stinks. So that's why I didn't name him June TV. I think he stinks. But you're going to miss sometimes. You ain't going to hit on all of them. But I named about 8, 9, 10 dudes just now. 12 dudes just now. And they hit on just about every one of them bad boys. You're going to miss on, a few picks. You're going to miss on some. I think they missed on Terrion Arnold. GMT Dro, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, "I don't think the team is that far off. We're most likely having a way better combo if we had last year's injury luck." Facts. I don't think we're that far off from getting to a stable position, but you have to hit, and that's the thing. When I'm not sure that we hit the last 2 drafts, and again, his free agency, to be honest, has been excellent. It really has. The guys that they've signed the multi-year contracts have come in here. They've been really good additions. They've played well. The 1-year Band-Aid solutions, for the most part, have been really solid. There's some exceptions to the rule. You're not going to hit on everything, as I mentioned, but the J-Max of the world, the Bobby Wagners, the Zach Ertzes, the OZ last year, the Dante Fowler Jr. last year, the Jacob Martin this year. Like, they've hit on a lot of these dudes, man. Like, honestly speaking, it hasn't been terrible. But eventually, you got hit on these draft picks. That's what's going to help you. Again, that's what's going to make you a sustainable winner. You got hit on these draft picks. You have a good offseason next year. You hit on some draft picks. You hit on the free agency piece. And again, you right back talking about this team being good again. The NFL is a year-to-year, week-to-week league, bro. This year you down, next year you back up. I'm not tripping. I'm just disappointed because I still got PTSD now. And I was looking to shed myself for that shit, and I can't. They got Aaron Rodgers out here looking scared at 40, man. This it for him, bro. And he just did Eli Manning no-look pass, bro. I ain't never seen Rodgers do no shit like that before. We got to get his ass up out of here. He said, "The money to pay better talent is here now. Flip picks, do an A+ draft should lead to more wins next season. It starts with an A+ draft. It starts with a draft that we believe in, that produces on the field. We have the money. Is he going to spend it? Is he going to spend the money? Just because you got it, clearly, we've seen our general manager don't like spending money. Is he going to spend the money? He got it. Is he going to spend it? Ethan Dykes, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy. Double up. Thank you for doubling up with rights. Seeing dudes open by 10 yards in person was crazy. Yeah, I bet it made it 10 times worse. I can only imagine you looking like pre-snap, bro. What the? Oh, yeah, he finna be wide ass open. Because, you know, on the TV copy, you can only see but so much. They showing the quarterback, you know, the whole time until he throw the ball. And so you don't see what's going on down the field. When you at the game, you actually see the alignment, how they line up, and you see pre-snap. Oh shit, this finna be an easy ass completion. I see why we don't never stop no damn body. We playing 50 yards off because we so afraid people gonna run past because we don't have no speed. You gotta have confidence in your abilities to come up and press. We don't have nobody that's confident in their abilities. Bates for Zion Charity. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat. Joe Rockhead. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Joe Rockhead writes, I know it's not our biggest issue, but the middle of the O-line is not playoff quality. As I do the thumb and finger dial turning motion like DQ. I will say this. If you want to run the football as effectively as teams like Indianapolis and others who have success, you need nasty road graders inside. We don't have that. I've said this for as long as I've had breath in my body and I've been doing this. We've had a finesse line as long as I've had the Louie Tee Network. We've never had a physical beat you up, maul people in the run game type of offensive line. We've always had a pass blocking offensive line, not a run blocking offensive line. That is how this line is built. It is built to protect, and it actually does a pretty solid job. It does not, however, feature a line that is going to put someone's dick in the dirt in the run game. We can't just line up and maul somebody. If we need a yard, we more likely than not have to trick you. We can't just line up and run for a yard, if that makes sense. You know, we get to the red zone, we get inside the one, and you know, we usually don't have too much trouble getting into the end zone. It's usually not too crazy. But if it's 4th and 1, we struggle with that. We struggle with 4th and 1s and just running straight. And you need more physically imposing offensive linemen for that kind of work. So yeah. I look, Cosme's gonna be fine. Biotish is fine. Chris Paul, like I said, I want Brandon Coleman and Chris Paul to battle it out next year. And if Chris Paul beats him out for the job, so be it. Brandon Coleman officially would be a wasted pick at that point. But you don't draft depth in the 3rd round. It's the same thing I said about Ron Rivera when he drafted the Arkansas center. I don't even remember his damn name. In the 3rd round, and I said, you can't draft a guy that you drafted for depth because we had years of the center position being ravaged by injury. You went out in free agency and you signed a center. We already had a center that was coming back from injury, and then you drafted another center in the 3rd round. You can't do that in the 3rd round. You can't do that in the 3rd round. You can't draft Brandon Coleman and him not end up being a starter in the 3rd round. You can't do that. Day 1 and 2 picks have to be starters at some point. You don't draft backups in the first 2 days of the draft. That's not what the first 2 days of the draft are for. Your backups and your cog players, your special teams guys, your glue guys, those guys come on day 3. Undrafted, day 3, low-level free agents, that sort of thing. Those are your Jeremy Reeves of the world. Those undrafted guys, those dominant, those Tyler Owens, those Colson Yankoffs. You can get those guys undrafted later in the draft or low-level free agents. Like Nick Ballore. You don't need to be doing that in the first 2 days. If you are, you building a very faulty and flawed roster. Again, case in point, Ben Sinnott can't be a Kyle Juszczyk. You draft Kyle Juszczyk in the 5th round. You don't draft Kyle Juszczyk in the 2nd round. You can't let him catch you, lad. Lad, come on now. That's Jalen Ramsey at 80 years old. You should be ashamed of your damn self. You supposed to be fast. All right, Jalen, you just showed me something. You can still run, bro. I'm disappointed in you, lad. I'm disappointed in you, lad. You out here proving Rio right. You white and you ain't got that gear, bro. That's crazy. I'm disappointed in you. Wrath of God. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate it. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Wrath of God writes, Tyler Warren caught for 99 yards, but damn, Jonathan Taylor scored every time he touched the ball. One Warren TD, I would have hit for 4 bands. Sleeper. Shout out to Sleeper. I saw that you had that comment in the mob chat, and I saw that. I stopped putting Tyler Warren on my ticket for touchdowns about a month ago. Early in the season, he was good for a touchdown. Then he just stopped, and they all started going to Jonathan Taylor. They sprinkle them around to the receivers, but for the most part, them James going to Jonathan Taylor and you know, a receiver of some sort. So yeah, he ain't been getting in the end zone, but you can put him down for 4 catches every week. You know, if you want to take a different approach, you can put him down for 4 catches, maybe 5, depending on the opponent, and you can put him down for 60 yards receiving. You can do that, and he'll get that for you. Wrath of God, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Wrath of God writes, "Sup, Lou? Sup, Wrath of God? Man, the way our defense players were acting shows severe frustration with their roles. Possibly pissed at Joe Witt Jr. Payne said deuces. Again, from what Kinlaw said, he got punched in the face first by your boy. And, you know, the second dude usually be the one to get caught. So it's unfortunate that it happened the way that it happened. But Kinlaw was snapping off too, if you remember, right around that same time. So he probably saw the shit. So he probably understood why Daron Payne was upset. And if that's true, I probably would have hit his ass too. Like, first of all, I'm too damn big to be getting punched in the face. So I would need to see the shit. Because I know Amon-Ra ain't that damn crazy to be punching a big 300-pounder in the face and thinking there ain't shit gonna happen and thinking shit sweet. So I got to see what the hell really went down. Jonathan Adams, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Jonathan Adams writes, I appreciate the hopium, Lou. Now I'm sipping the tea of humbleness and acceptance of this season. Feels like that 2021 season where we just gave up, and it shows today. Look, we've been getting our ass whooped for a month now. So, like, if it took till today for the hopium to wear off, again, bless your heart. We knew the ass whooping was coming today. So today didn't faze me any. It amazes me at the level of which we've sunk into defensively to the point now where we can't even get a stop. Like, it went from we can't force turnovers to we can't get first. It started out with we can't get turnovers. Then that progressed to we can't get stops when we need them. till then we can't get a stop after the offense score to get the ball back so that we can build momentum, to now, can we just get some stops, right? Can we just get some stops so that Jalen Lane can get more opportunities to return punts? Because special teams is our best part of our team right now. Special teams is the best part of our team. If we could just play special teams and nothing else, we would be the best team in football, or one of them. Two, can we just get a stop? Now we're at the, can we just get a stop? One. I never saw the progression getting us to here, which is crazy. So, yeah. Anyway, that was the last super chat. So that's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on Command Post Game Live. You know what it is. Post up. Take command. I look forward to chopping it up with y'all at some point this week. Again, I think myself and the Kings, the rest of the Kings, are going to be live for that Dolphins game on Sunday morning. So hopefully you can kick it with us. That should be a lot of fun. And you know what? As bad as the game probably going to be, it'll be fun to just watch the game with them and chop it up with y'all. And we can just converse and kick it. So looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing DQ's press conference, seeing what he got to say. And, just looking forward to all of it. It's been a tough season. But like I said, we're going to get through it. And the best way for us to get through it is together. So we're just going to have to keep grinding it out, man. But if anybody can do it, it's us. It's us. So let's keep getting it. All right. Till then, I'm your man, Louie T, signing off. You guys have a good one. Take care. Enjoy the rest of this game. I'll be back. If you care, I'll be back at the end of this Chargers Steelers game to break it all down. And I'll see you guys next time. Till then, peace.